4,
What's up?
6. What's up? What's up? You know,
What's
we're back to the
going
same
on?
thing where I never, and I'll get used to this eventually after I've done 8 million of these. I see you over here and everybody else is over here. This always messes with my emotions.
Yeah, you're here and the camera's here. Yeah, I know.
Right. So either I'm looking over here so I can see what the hell's going on, and then everybody feels like I'm ignoring them, or I'm making uncomfortable eye to eye contact with everybody else, and I can't see. You could be over here picking your nose, and I wouldn't know.
I am. I'm picking my nose. I think it's less weird if we're talking to each other, and more weird if it's just one person, like doing a live Q&A, and they never look at the camera. But I think with like streaming and stuff, people are getting more and more used to it. Now, the weird thing is, what's awful is that you're looking off to your right, and I'm looking off to my right. So we're looking in opposite directions. So maybe I'll put you over here.
Hold on, I gotta.
And now I'm looking kind of in the right direction, sort of. I'm looking towards you.
There we go. Is that better? Hold on, wait. Like this? No, wait. Fuck. Hold on. Wait, is it? You're not past the 2-minute fuck mark.
We are not. You are not going to do well with this marker.
No, I'm not.
We're going to get demonetized as soon as we get monetized.
We're actually at 2 minutes now. So, yeah, we're not monetized yet, so it doesn't matter. So I can say fuck all I want.
That's true.
That's true. Hey.
Taylor must have been restocking the White Claws. True.
Dude, you caught a little hell for the White Claw comment and the fact you were drinking beer on the Whiskey Knife Fight podcast.
Hey, I am a drinker of alcohol. Okay.
Hey, I can't.
Sometimes you take it how you can get it.
I can't be mad at that. I am just not a big beer guy. I mean, we talked about this a little in the last one. I will knock down a stout every now and then, but like, dude, I can't remember the last time I drank a beer that wasn't like a Guinness or a stout. It's probably been years.
If I drink a Guinness or any other stout or porter, I have like one, and then I'm down for the count.
Then you're full. You need to take a nap.
Yeah, you gotta go lighter. I've learned that over the years. Even IPAs, dude. Oh boy, the day after our last live stream was July 4th, right? And we went out of town and had a pool weekend with my sister's neighbors who also have kids. Like, it was just a big kind of fun weekend with people who are just kind of quarantined together. They live next to each other. They're always with each other. So we remained, I guess, as safe as we could and had a little pool weekend. It was fun. Eleanor's first time in the pool.
Oh, nice. How'd that go?
Well, I guess that was technically her second time, but she loved it. Dude, she loves the water. But
dude, have you seen the people that just like throw their kids in the water?
Oh yeah.
It's just like the whole like natural way to kids learn to swim or whatever, and they're like little babies and they're like throwing them in the fucking water, and I don't know, it's weird. Hold on, yeah, I just saw somebody say that I'm low. Hold on. That's Tony. That's my uncle right there, Tony Cox. See that guy right there?
Is he the guy who you're saying is better at streaming than you are?
Yes, he is better at streaming than me. Their podcast looks better. Hold on.
Tuzu says Guinness turns your poo black.
Guinness turns your poo black. How's that? Am I still low, or is that better? I turned it up.
I don't know. My volume for you is independent of theirs.
I know, that's why I turned it up, and we'll see what they say. I don't see the comments going through here. Wait, am I? Let's see. I don't see anybody. 805. Is that the current one? Yeah, the current one's at the bottom. Hey, said he likes my shirt. Yeah, look, new shirts. Oh, whiskey bottle and a cigar. We're
going to have to do a shirt exchange, although your shirts are better than mine. So,
oh, you don't have to do an exchange. I'll send you some. I mean, you do need to send me some of your shirts, but I'll send you some of these. I just got these samples about a week ago. They should be live on the site next week if everything's good. I got 3 new designs. For the people.
I ordered samples a month ago.
Well, for the people that are on here, just so they know what I'm talking about, I was going through the same company that Taylor's going through, Printful, to do all my merch shirts, my merch apparel. And they're a great company. I mean, they have good shirts. They do good printing. I had no complaint with them, but this whole pandemic thing, somebody said sounds better. Nice. This whole pandemic thing hits, and I mean, dude, I know some of my people that ordered shirts were waiting a month for their order to get there. How long were yours going?
I think the longest was about a month.
Right. Yep. And people were being pretty cool
now. They're better now, but they've definitely got some
yeah
stuff to figure out.
it just became a real nightmare. And then Bunker Branding, who is Matt with Demolition Ranch, if any of you guys know who Demolition Ranch is, he has his own branding company called Bunker Branding. So I reached out to them and I'm working with them now. I left Printful, working with Bunker Branding, and we have like 4 new designs coming out probably next week. So they'll be on the site.
Very nice. I will launch new shirts whenever.
You had a whole bunch. What happened to them? Did you launch all those or no?
No, because I don't want people to place orders and be waiting for them for eternity. So
yeah. See, Tony just said we had 6-week delay on their shirts. That's how long it was taking with some of those Printful things. And people were being pretty patient for the most part. I had a couple people that were pissed off and wanted their money back. But for the most part, people understood that, like, Corona, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, still, man, it sucks to buy something and have to wait that long for it. Like,
yeah. And
then I wasn't launching more shirts because the same thing. I didn't want to deal with all the emails and stuff. So it was kind of a fucking nightmare, really.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I should ping everybody in my Discord server.
Ping, 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 ping.
I forgot to do that.
Oh, I forgot to go on. I need to go over here. I need to go over here and get over here. Yeah. Where's our, you would think I would be better at this, but whiskey. What whiskey are you drinking tonight, Mr. Taylor?
Well, I haven't decided yet. I bought some whiskeys this week, and I think I'm going to go with. It's going to be hard to go back. It's going to be hard to go back if I start. If I start with this would be a good start. But that's the Michter's single barrel rye, and then we have Port Charlotte. I think if I start with Port Charlotte and then go to a rye, it's going to taste like water. So I think I have to start with the rye.
Yeah, you definitely do. If that's a big old peat monster, you don't want to start with that.
Oh, it says heavily peated.
Yeah, you don't want to do. I see somebody says pocket dump, and somebody else says pocket dump, and somebody else says wrist check.
Ooh.
So I guess we need to probably go over that shit.
This is
it's got some got a little. Is it Ardbeg though?
It's more medicinal smelling than Ardbeg.
It's more Lagavulin.
No. It's like there's some serious iodine smells coming off that.
Do you think? And we'll get to the pocket checks in just a second, guys. But do you think? I think Ardbeg is smokier and Lagavulin is more medicinal. Would you agree with that, or do you think differently?
I would definitely say Ardbeg's smokier. It's definitely a peat bomb, and I enjoy it for that. But I wouldn't say to me Lagavulin tastes medicinal. To me, I get more like almost a sweetness or salty, but not medicinal.
See, my buddy described it to me as chloroseptic. And he loves it because of that, because he said he loved chloroseptic when he was a kid. But he said it reminds him of chloroseptic, which now that he said that, every time I drink Lagavulin, I think of Dude, I got a bottle of that. You can't see it. It's over.
This is really good. I had some yesterday because I poured some for the thumbnail for this.
Oh, yeah?
For that photo. And then I was like, well, can't waste it. Got to drink it.
It's like get a whiskey real quick. And then we'll do a pocket dump. Hold on.
I don't know if I'm going to do a full pocket dump, but I'll tell you what stuff I'm carrying. I also have to be careful. He can't hear me, but I have to be careful because
oh, goddamn.
Unlike Jeremy, I have to drive home. Right. Jeremy is at his home.
Sorry.
And I said unlike you, I have to drive home after this, so I have to be careful. But
I got the same thing as you, just so we could drink together, buddy.
Nice. I'm definitely going to have to, start spreading my whiskey wings a little more. I got really hard into it a few years ago, and I went down the rabbit hole of scotches, and that's what I enjoy the most. Nice.
I'll have to send you some stuff, though, because according to what you were telling me, your selection up there kind of sucks ass.
Hey, I FaceTimed you yesterday. You said the selection was good, but it was mostly just the traditional stuff.
I wouldn't say it was a good selection. It wasn't as bad as I thought, based on what you had said, that it was going to be real fucking bad. Like you were going to have a bottle of Jack Daniel's Jim Beam, and that was going to be it.
That was a weak pour.
That was a weak pour, but that's because I plan on having many.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna knock this one down, have some Port Charlotte, and that'll be it because I do have to drive home.
This is my warm up whiskey. Now, and I don't know if a lot of other people do this, but I am a bit of a proof hound. I tend to like the higher proof stuff, the stuff that's cask strength and stuff. But you can't go right into a cask strength whiskey. You got to have a warm up whiskey, right? So I'll start off with something like this that's in the 90s, maybe drink like a Woodford, then bump up to like maybe a, I don't know, like a rare Eagle Rare, or not an Eagle Rare, a rare breed, like 115 proof before I jump into like the 120s and 130s. Because if you start off with 120 or 130, it doesn't feel good on your mouth.
Yeah.
This is the first whiskey I've had in almost a week, by the way.
What? How's that even?
I had a dry week, man. I feel like, and you know, my buddy Dan with Bourbon Junkies, he was saying he does this too. He was talking about the other day. I feel like it's important every now and then just to kind of make sure you're all good. You know what I mean? Like, don't drink anything for like a good 3 or 4 days. Make sure
you're not getting the shakes by
make sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't drink that much anyway. Like I drink every day, but I don't drink a lot. Like I have 1 or 2 small glasses of whiskey a night. Like I don't even ever get a buzz usually. So I don't really worry about it, but I still think it's a good idea just to give yourself a little break, give yourself a few days, make sure all engines are a go. And so I had a dry week.
I got you. Well, I would say most of my weeks are pretty dry. I mean, I might have like maybe 2 or 3 beers a week, but I never finished my story about going to the pool.
Shit. Yes, I apologize.
So the week before that, Alex had kind of a girls' weekend. So with her sisters and stuff, they went to Savannah and had this. They did a ghost tour, different stuff, and I was with Eleanor all weekend by myself, which she is definitely a handful now. So all I did, man. Yeah, all I did was say, I can't give this guy mod for some reason. I'm not sure how to do that.
Michner's American whiskey, by the way. I saw something go by. Somebody said rye or Michner's American. I love Michner's American. It's one of my favorite Michner's. Go ahead.
Anyway, I told her, I was like, look, you had your girls' weekend. All I want is one day. It's July 4th. I'd like a day where I can just kind of enjoy myself. So we went to the pool, and I brought a cooler full of IPAs. It was probably about $80 or $90 of IPAs. And I brought them to share. Oh,
okay,
I mean, okay. And because my brother-in-law loves IPAs, the guys whose pool we were using, he loves IPAs.
Keep talking. People were just asking, so I'm showing.
I think the total tally by the end of the night was, and I sent you a picture. You didn't reply to this. I had that cigar, Romeo y Julieta. No, you didn't. What a jerk. Yeah, but
what a jerk.
I had either 6 or 7 hazy IPAs and 3 double IPAs. So the hazies were about 6 to 8% a piece, and then the doubles were 8 to 10%. Mm-hmm. And yeah, having 9 to 10 IPAs,
no bueno.
Oof, boy, I felt it. So I went to bed about 4 a.m. and because we were in the pool. I mean, everybody, all the women were asleep, so it was just a couple of guys hanging out at the pool, drinking, having cigars. Stayed until about 4 a.m. I went to bed, and about 7:30 in the morning, Eleanor smacking me in the face.
Dude, that's that dad life, son.
Dude, I opened my eyes up, and the room was still spinning, and I'm just like, ooh. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I paid for it for a little bit, but I tried my best to go back to sleep, drank a bunch of water, had some eggs, and I felt great. So
that's that dad life, man. I always tell people that don't have kids that don't know. They're like, oh, why don't you do this or something? It'll be something that is going on late at night. And I'm like, you don't understand, man. My kids are early risers. Okay. They're like the fucking drill sergeant in the Marines. And like, as soon as that sun comes up, they're in there. Dad, can I have pancakes? Dad, I want some waffles. Dad, can I have pancakes? Dad, how about some cereal? Dad. And if you're not sleeping, so it's that dad life, baby. Got to get used to it.
Yeah.
So there were some questions about something. Somebody said, I saw something. Nice, affordable cigar. Somebody asked if I always use a V cutter. I can't find it, but, not always. Sometimes I do use a straight cutter. I would say primarily I use V cutters. V cutters don't work great on like smaller ring gauge cigars. So like this V is way too deep. So if you're smoking like a Corona or a Lancero, this is no bueno. So I usually straight cut those. But larger ring gauge cigars, I primarily do V cut.
I don't have a cigar cutter.
I'll send you one.
And will you, just like that Swiss Army knife?
Oh
and
fuck! I never did send you that, did I?
And the monitor calibrator.
Oh yeah, I forgot that too.
I'm just gonna buy one,
dude. You got to remind me these things. You know what you need to do? You need to just tell my wife. Oh, that's how you make sure shit gets done. Is tell my wife.
I added your wife on Face, or she added me, but we're friends on Facebook. I added you, and you didn't add me back.
Dude, I haven't been on Facebook in 3 years. I hate Facebook with a passion. I can't stand Facebook.
Oh, I hate it too.
It's an ugly platform.
So I know why I cannot make this guy mod. I'm logged into the wrong YouTube account.
Oh, they wanted to see a pocket check. That was what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Wrist check is same as last week. Focus, bitch. Focus. Focus.
I got a new one. I got a new ad.
Hey, focus. Why won't you focus, you whore?
Wow.
Hold on, wait.
Tell me how you really...
There it is. It's because I have the focus plane set long ways. It's still the Oris. I did put a leather strap on the Oris, though, the other day.
Strap on the divers and no.
I know, but you know what? I really don't give a fuck what people say. I like a little leather every now and then, and I think the bronze looks cool with black, brown leather. So, Oris 65 Bico. Pocket. Still the same knife as last week. I've been using the shit out of the new Spidey with the brass. Little. Could you? This will test Taylor's EDC skills. Which, by the way, even if you don't get this right, I still have the utmost belief in your EDC ability. But do you know where this bead is from?
The internet. I would say Urban Carvers, but
dude, you got it. Urban Carvers.
Ooh, look at this. Farmer E. If you guys haven't subscribed to Farmer E, please go do it. He deserves it so much. He did a video this week. It was amazing. But 5-finger challenge.
Oh, I fucked that one up. I did this one time on a Instagram video for Taylor, and I ended with my middle finger just so I could tell Taylor to fuck off. The pinky's the hardest one. Hold on. There it goes. That was all 5.
I don't know that I can do it with any of the knives I have here.
This one's a little heavy, so it's a little harder to do. I have to like re-grip and make sure I got it because it'll fall out of my hand because of the brass scales or the copper scales. The pinky's the hardest. I don't know. The index or the pointer's hard too because you don't have a lot of.
Well, I've got the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight, and it's the action on it's not so great because it's only got one liner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually plastic on one side, and you get a lot of resistance from that. I mean, I love this knife, but it's not the most fidgety.
Due to the Taylor recommendation, Das Affinamir Hube looks very much like the topsider, but almost showed everybody my fucking info. But more pockets. Hube. Although I will say I did want to talk about this. This wasn't in my pocket, but I brought it on the podcast. I was going to tell you about this before the podcast, and I said, well, wait, we'll talk about it. Have you seen these guys? Do you know what this is?
I saw your post.
Ooh, dude.
I think they reached out to me. It's a little mall ninja for me. I'm not going to lie.
No, dude. It's real good. It's real good. Dude, that one knife you have this is not mall ninja.
A curved cleaver with speed holes.
I don't think it's mall ninja at all.
It's a little mall ninja.
By the way, the guy that makes these used to be an MMA fighter, and he's a security contractor, and he's 15-year Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. So keep talking shit about his knife.
I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I really like it.
Now, what's the brand?
Red Horse Knife Works.
Red Horse Knife Works. I don't know if they reached out or not.
The reason I really like it is if you held this knife, it's got ceramic ball bearings and a ceramic detent, and it's probably this. I mean, when I opened it the first time, I thought it was spring loaded. Like it is
Oh, where is it? Here we go. Add some chrome and it's strip mall ninja.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a little mall ninja, dude.
I can't believe you think it's Mall Ninja.
Well, look at it. It's exactly what mall ninja is.
That's hurtful, Taylor. That's hurtful. A lot of people on Instagram liked it.
I think I have the vote from the chat here.
Let's see. That's mall con. It's Super Mall Ninja. 220 people left. See, the knife looks badass. See, Frank Ramos. Frank Ramos, you're my boy. All you people that are saying it's Mall Ninja, go fuck yourselves.
Frank, for all we know, Frank himself could be a mall ninja.
He could be. He could be. No, I mean, I get it. So, I mean, I really like it though. I think it's a unique shape. I like the cleaver. It kind of reminds me of a straight razor. I dig it. I don't usually like carbon fiber. I just did a video. It hasn't posted it yet, but I have gone on record saying I don't like carbon fiber, but these, I actually really do like the way they're sculpted and stuff. The fit and finish on this knife and the action is probably the best of any knife I have. I mean, it is.
This is a really good point right here. Where is it? Our chat lags behind a little bit. There you go. Dope knife. Carry what you want. You're a grown adult. Yeah, I agree. If you want to carry something Mall Ninja, do it. I have some knives that other people cringe at, and that's fine too. It doesn't bother me. I'm just saying.
That one knife you showed me, I said the same thing about.
That was the J Cape.
Yeah.
The J Cape was a little Mall Ninja, but I still liked it. But,
well, and that's how I feel about this. I honestly, I could probably see why you would say that because it's got the speed holes and stuff. I get why you say that, but I really do like it. I think it's cool. I've been carrying it. I like it. I've been getting more into cleaver style knives lately.
I went through that phase. The problem that I have with a lot of folding cleavers is that they defeat the purpose of a cleaver. So the whole point of a cleaver is to be able to put the blade flat on a table.
Right.
The blade extends well beyond the handle, and you can lay it flat on the table and you can chop with it. But if you take, say, the sheepdog, for example, it's a flipper cleaver. So the flipper tab hits the table long before the blade does. So you can't lay the blade flat. And that's how a lot of cleavers are. And it's not necessarily just a flipper like the, why am I blanking on his name? Berg Blades Slim, which is not a slim knife by any stretch. But the Slim has, like, the way you have to hold it, your knuckles are going to hit the table long before the blade is too. So instead of being able to put the blade flat on a table, you have to put the blade like this, which defeats the purpose of a cleaver.
Right.
So
I get it.
Can you explain what Mall Ninja is? Mall Ninja typically is something that is just there's a lot of flash to the blade without any real utility or reason. It's meant to look cool, but there's actually no additional functionality to it. And in a lot of cases, a Mall Ninja knife is probably a little more dangerous to the user than whoever they would hopefully not be using the knife against. Or maybe if they're an idiot, maybe they should be and hurting themselves. I don't know. All I'm saying is Mall Ninja typically a lot of flash, a lot of flare, and not a ton of utility. Things that are supposed to look kind of cool, but usually are made out of really cheap materials.
See, the cheap materials looking kind of gaudy and cheap materials is what I think of when I think of Mall Ninja, which is why that knife, that's S35 VN, carbon fiber, titanium. I mean, it's all pretty high-end stuff.
Yeah, stores that sell Mall Ninja knives usually sell swords too.
Like the cheap ninja swords.
Oh, also, just prefacing this, I am drinking whiskey, not for the first time because I had some yesterday, but I don't normally drink a lot of whiskey. I used to. I just kind of got out of it. So what I'm getting at is basically my mouth is going to be going a little numb because I'm just not so used to it. So you're going to hear me mess up a ton of words. I'm going to blah, blah, blah.
Anybody who watches my channel is 100% used to me fucking up words on a regular basis.
I'm just saying that because when I used to do the EDC Weekly, I would always drink whiskey during the EDC Weekly. And during that, you never saw it in the video because I would cut out all the times I would mess up. But my tongue would start going numb and I would just start slurring words. I wasn't drunk or even tipsy. It was just my mouth was numb and I couldn't really control my tongue the way I wanted to.
See, you said that Ardbeg does that to your mouth, makes it dumb. It doesn't do that to me.
Yeah, just about any really heavily peated scotch typically does. One dram.
Makes y'all tingly.
Yeah.
Makes y'all tingly.
But I enjoy that.
No, I mean, it's a good, hey, we got more people, 217 this time in the stream. So that's, last time I think we only had about a hundo.
Yeah, so I guess
so we didn't totally piss everybody off last time. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good. They stuck around for the 3 hours that we talked.
Yeah, we can't do that tonight.
No, not 3 hours. Anyway, my pocket dump.
You'll see it.
The knife is the chamois still.
You love that knife.
It's a very good knife. This is probably the best action on a knife that I have, other than maybe the Shirogorov.
I have a really hard time with front flippers like that.
This knife is a finger guillotine.
Yeah, that knife I would cut my finger off with. No, see, I couldn't do that. I would have lost some digits.
But yeah, I am carrying the production chamois, which is kind of a controversial piece now.
Why?
Because they did such a horrible job at the drop. They had 3 different drops or attempted drops and failed, and hardly anybody who got or wanted one or tried to get one got one. It was just a mess.
It's kind of like Rag Proper and their flasks, man. They kind of fucked that up a little bit. They're doing good now, but in the beginning they struggled a little bit.
Yep. So Okluma DC0 is the flashlight. Actually, I'm wearing a Okluma shirt. I love this shirt, but crazy good flashlight. Also expensive flashlight.
We talked about that one day, and you told me, I was like, "Say what?"
Yep. This is about a $450 flashlight.
God damn, that hurts my feelings. That hurts my feelings.
Pin is a tactile turn bolt action short in bronze.
Very nice.
And the wallet is the Turkey Foot Leatherworks Bobcat. Switched back to this thing.
I like that. That guy made that one custom to your specifications, didn't he? If I remember correctly. Oh. Yeah. And look, just so you look.
Oh, I forgot my wrist.
Oh yeah, show us that. I'll show you after.
This is the new.
You better have the one that you've showed me. That's better be what you're about to show.
This is the new. This is the Laurier Neptune V2. So the V3 is out. This is the older one. I kind of want a V3, but I also really wanted the V2 to compare them and choose which one I want to keep. I don't want to keep them both, but love this watch.
It reminds me so much of that Omega. That watch does. The Omega Diver 300, I think is what it's called. I have to look it up. I think it's a Diver 300. It looks a lot. Yeah. It's got a sandwich dial. Is that a sandwich dial? No. I've got a few that are sandwich dials. This one is a pretty basic watch. It was not super expensive, but you get a domed plexiglass crystal. I wanted to talk about that today, by the way. Plexiglass? Yeah, man. I just don't know if I'm with the plexiglass. I just don't know. Look at that bubble. I like the dome. This watch has got a dome, but it's a dome sapphire. I know the plexiglass. So are you done with is that the last thing? I think that's everything. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I know you said you can polish it, but like, I just don't know, man. Seamaster 300. That's what it is. Somebody just said it. That knife looks a lot like a Seamaster 300, which I love. The knife. Jesus Christ. I haven't even been drinking either. That watch looks a lot like a Seamaster 300, which is one of my favorite ones. Bourbon Junkies. Oh, that wallet was sexy. Also, that flashlight cost what? Yeah. That flashlight, the thing that looks like a small anal probe is is $400. $400 for Benjamins for a flashlight that is big enough that you could smuggle on an airplane in your rectum. I want to, since we're talking about weird and controversial knives. Was it called your prison wallet? Yes. I did get this week. I had one of these in the past, and there's just something about this knife that I really, really like. And it's the Coke Tools KTC2. It is such a bizarre knife. This one is a little Mall Ninja. I'm not going to lie. It is. I don't think it's Mall Ninja, though. I mean, you're saying that because of the blade shape, right? Because it's a little angular and looks like a stealth fucking bomber or something with the big thumb hole. Is that why you're saying it's Mall Ninja? Yeah. And then you've also got a little pry tool and bottle opener. But see, to me,
This is a slip joint with a half stop, and then this is on bearings, a liner lock on bearings.
Okay, here's the reason that I feel like that is not Mall Ninja. A, it's got micarta handles, which when have you ever seen a fucking Mall Ninja knife with micarta? And it's functional. That's the very opposite of Mall Ninja, right? Is they have it's form over function, right? There's no function behind the knives. They just look flashy. That one's got tools and shit. So I don't think it's Mall Ninja.
Coke looks like a Cybertruck.
I mean, the blade shape is definitely a little weird.
It's a sponto, so it's not quite a tanto because you don't have a hard angle here. So you have this very wide swooping angle change instead of a hard cut. You don't have basically a tanto is two bevels, right? You've got primary or not primary, but you have one bevel, second bevel. This one is just one. So sharpening this thing is going to be fun.
Oh, I don't even know how you're going to keister carry. Yeah, somebody say.
What was the name of that knife, and is it less expensive? So if you get the production version of the chamois, I think this was about $280, something like that. The custom chamois, I think they retail like original MSRP is like $700-800, and then usually what happens is someone buys one for $700 or $800, and then the next day you see it on the secondary market for about $2,000. Yeah.
First off, I see Dan's in chat. I want to know if Dan's drinking whiskey and what Dan is drinking tonight. And actually, it would be interesting to see in the comments, since this is a hangout and not really like a podcast where we're doing a lot of back and forth. You guys post what you're drinking. I want to see what everybody's drinking.
Justin EDC says secondary nuts at the moment is on those shams. Yeah, I don't know what the secondary is because I've not kept up with them. So if you know what the secondary is on the chamois, drop it in the chat. And to further what Jeremy's saying, this isn't really the podcast yet. We're just hanging out until I get my air conditioning situation fixed. It was 82 in here when we started, and I've left the AC on this time because I just don't want to have a heat stroke.
Dude, I can't hear it. I really can't.
That's good. It's 81 now. I don't know how it's cooler. Maybe because it cooled off. It's cold outside. Not cold. It was like 95 when I was at home, and then we had this crazy freak storm, and when I came outside, it was in the 70s, which was nice, but I don't know that I'm going to feel that in here yet.
Let's see what some of these people are saying they're drinking. We got some
Woodford Double Oaked.
That's a good. I've seen two people say William Wolf pecan bourbon. I've never had that, but that sounds pretty. I see some Eagle Rares, some Mickners. I say
Bourbon Junkie says Traverse City Barrel Proof Rye.
Oh, see, I can always count. I can always count on Dan to bring some fucking shit that is like, snob level stuff. I've never even heard of that, but that's awesome. And I'm not calling you a snob, Dan. I'm just saying, like,
we're both drinking Michter's rye right now.
Dan has some bottles that like cost more than my entire whiskey collection, like a bottle. Like one bottle.
I did want to go back to the Plexi.
Oh yeah.
Not to jump around. We are jumping all over the place.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why the podcast, when we start that, just for clarification, is going to be more me and you having conversations like a normal podcast, and we're going to have a question and answer section that we do that because doing the comments.
We're going to be like all over the place. You won't be able to follow along.
Right. This is a hangout session, so it's like who gives a shit.
So, Sapphire versus Plexi. I would prefer Sapphire. That's the thing. I would. I mean, it's a better material, I think. However, I don't hate Plexi. It's got its place. I paid $350 for this watch. How much was your Oris?
It was more than that.
It was.
Back to switching real quick. I had to say it. Where'd it go? Hold on. Just keep that thought. I know I'm jumping, but I saw it. Hold on. I have to give this guy a shout out because he's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. Where'd it go? Fuck.
I don't know what you're looking for.
I'm looking for a guy said that he was drinking George Dickel Bottle and Bond.
Oh, it's right here. I just saw it.
I just saw it too. There he is. Steve Frick. You fucking legend, you. You don't know the story about the George Dickel Bottle and Bond, Taylor. We'll go into that after you get done with your thought because I don't want to totally derail you. But I love that shit, and Dan hates it because Dan, while knows a lot about whiskey, he doesn't know everything, and he definitely has proved that he can be wrong by not liking George Dickel. I love you, Dan.
Now, what I'm getting at here is you could definitely find a $350 diver very similar to this with a sapphire. But Laurier has really made me appreciate plexiglass.
Mhm.
I like it. Now, if I get it scratched up, I'm heavy. I'm hard on knives or
Well, see, that's me.
watches. I am hard on watches, and I've yet to scratch. Well, this I got yesterday, but I've yet to scratch the Gemini, which is that Panda chronograph that I have.
It's a beautiful watch.
I've yet to scratch the Plexi on that, and that Young Hands that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the bubble, the bezel-less watch?
Yeah,
that was also Plexi.
yeah. Well,
And you can. There are two things. You can polish it up if you scratch it. You just get some poly wash and slowly polish it up and then restore it back to new. Also, whenever you need to service the watch, or even before then, if you really wanted this watch right here with a domed sapphire crystal, you could get that. It would be probably about $70 to pay someone to put a sapphire crystal in it. Or if you're, ballsy, you can do it yourself.
Well, Carlos, it's not colon, right? It's
it might be colon. I don't know.
It might be colon. Carlos, if I'm...
We're going to say cologne.
We'll say cologne. I'm not trying to call you part of my digestive tract. If it is colon, that's cool. But anyway, like he was saying, the Omega comes with... It's not Plexi, though. They call it something else. It is Plexi, but they call it... What do they call it on the Omegas? Hesselite. Or the sapphire, right? I've heard a lot of purists say they like the Hesselite because the sapphire, because of the way the face is, you get like a white or like a cloudy ring from looking down through the sapphire, where with the Hesselite, it's perfectly crystal clear because of just the nature of the material. So some of the purists like the Hesselite, and I mean, that's like a $5,000 watch, right? So it's like...
Yeah, it is a very, very clear, and I love the way the light just plays with it. I don't mind it. I really genuinely don't. I would not complain if it were sapphire either. I
get the thought process of being able to buff it out easily, but I'm just so heavy-handed.
A lot of people like it also because if you don't clean it up after it starts to get scratched, you kind of get that vintage vibe. It looks like an old vintage watch, and that's something that people want. I mean, this is a vintage-inspired design, so you can kind of get the full vintage effect, whereas if you have one with sapphire, you're never going to get those scratches and scuffs on the crystal, which I know sounds really dumb to want, but I mean, some people want that. Some people want the watch to look old.
Now,
Plexi Patina, yeah.
Now, when you say poly watch, how good does it polish off, though?
I've never tried it, but I mean, from my understanding, it gets it to pretty much back to polished, like looking original. Huh, I don't know. I've never tried it, so
I just know I've polished plastics before, like with headlights and stuff, and a lot of times you got to go to some really fine stuff. There's always a little bit of cloudiness to it. You never can get it really back to that original kind of luster. So I'm just curious as to how good it works.
Yeah. Art here is asking me about how the Plexi worked out on the Young Hands that I have. So I no longer have the Young Hands. And the reason for that is the plexiglass or the Plexi crystal. So I got the watch and wore it for a few hours, and I looked down and I'm like, oh, I've already scratched the Plexi. Like, it's been like 2 hours.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
I was like, what the hell? I paid $1,200 for this watch and I scratched it immediately.
Right.
And I didn't wear it again after that for like a week or so because I was waiting on bands to come in because I didn't have any bands on it that I liked. So I ordered some and I had to wait for them. This was right when the pandemic hit. And I actually think it took about almost 2 weeks for the bands to get in. So I put them on and I wore it, and I took a picture for, I think, Peter. And I sent it to him because he wanted a picture of it. So I sent it to him, and I noticed that scratch was still in the same spot. Then the next morning, I picked up the watch and put it on, and I noticed the scratch had moved and was a different size and shape. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I actually came here to the office. I broke out my macro lens, and I took some super up close shots of the watch, and I think I can pull that up right now. So maybe let me see if I can.
So I'm confused. So what the fuck was it if it moved? Was it not a scratch? Was it the way the light was shining through the Plexi or something?
No, I don't know. I thought I had it. It may not be on here. Let me check this real quick.
I saw a couple people say that the poly watch makes it look pristine. It's 3 to 5 minutes with poly. So hey, it could be good. Maybe I'll try one day.
I thought I had it on here. I'd like to show.
See, I'm almost done. It's about time for the next whiskey.
Here we go. I got it.
That Michner's is so sweet, man. That stuff is like, what do you get on that Michner's? Like, I get like kind of a little bit of a minty vibe. Very sweet. Maybe a little honey in there. Touch of oak. Almost like a wintergreen kind of vibe.
I would say, personally, that I think it tastes like whiskey. I mean, I'm not exactly an expert, so I don't know.
I get a lot of real heavy ryes. I get is that a pube in there?
So I looked at this under, like with this macro lens, and I'm
what
like,
the fuck is that?
Wait a minute, that looks like a hair.
Yeah, it looks like a hair.
And I thought I had a hair under I thought it was stuck on the outside at first because that's what it looked like. And then I realized, no, that's under the crystal. And I sent these photos to Joma, who I bought it from, and they sent these photos to their technician, I guess, or whoever does their watch repairs. I don't know what the technical term for that would be, but he was like, "Oh yeah, this is an acrylic crystal or plexi, and when you push it into the case, sometimes it shaves off a little bit of it, and that's what that is under."
What?
It was under the crystal. So I sent it in, and they were just going to remove it and send it back to me. And then they're like, well, this one's defective, so we're going to have to send you another one. And I was like, great, no problem. And then a few hours later, they hadn't said anything back. And I was like, hey, can I get a white one? And I said, I would just like a white one instead of this anthracite, because the anthracite was just really hard to pair a strap with. And instead of just being like yes or no, they're like, oh yeah, no problem, we'll just refund you and you can buy whatever you want. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, whatever. So I was going to have to wait a few days for the money to come back to me, and then I was just going to place another order. And then I realized the one I bought was $200 more than what I paid. And I'm like, so you refunded me for this, raised the price of the watch, and now I can't buy it. Not even the one I just bought. And the white one was like $70 some more than that. And I'm just like, what? I'm not paying like $300 more than what I paid after shipping and taxes and everything. I was just like, forget it.
I've had pretty good luck with Joma. They've been pretty good to me so far.
Well, the thing is, we were talking about like collaborating, working together, and that was the way they were just like, I told him, I was like, that's not what I was asking for. I did not want that. I just wanted you to swap it out. Now I can't even buy back the watch that I originally had without spending $200 more. And he was like, oh, sorry, let me know if I can help you with anything else.
You're like, oh, you motherfucker.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go buy a different watch from somebody else. So I sold a few more watches off and I bought my Damasco.
Somebody said they like this view better. I like this view better too, by the way.
It is a nice view.
I like you can see, I mean, I know the picture's smaller. So like if we're showing detailed stuff, then yeah, obviously it's better to do the bump in, but you kind of get more of the environment this way. It's not so zoomed in on my face, which nobody wants to see that shit that close.
I like this view personally.
Well, I mean, it's definitely less nauseating than seeing this up close. No telling what kind of shit's in my beard. Probably fucking crumbs from dinner.
Well,
small animals.
Regardless, I still want a Young Hands, and I'm just gonna wait to buy it because actually, speaking of, they now offer the Young Hands in a dome sapphire crystal. The problem is you can't get those on the gray market. So Joma obviously is a gray market dealer, and you have to buy them direct. And if you buy that Young Hands direct, it's about twice as much. Right at $2,000 instead of $1,000-ish.
And we had this conversation on the last podcast, so we don't need to go too deep into it. But the whole gray market and watches thing, right? Like anything Speedmaster or cheaper, I'm going gray market just because I would rather save the money, get it from a reputable dealer like Joma or somebody that's got a pretty good reputation. But any of the higher end stuff, like, man, you want the experience, right? Like you want to go into the store and walk out with that bag, right? Like you said, like,
yeah, we talked about this last time, and there's a guy in the Discord server who goes by Everyday Carry Buffalo, and he said, look, coming from somebody who's done that, don't do it. That experience isn't worth it. He said you're losing out on about $2,000.
Really?
Just to be able to walk out with that bag in hand. He said it's not worth it.
Really? What about a Rolex though, man? Isn't it kind of?
I'm not gonna say who, but I had a buddy send me some pictures of a VIP lounge, a Rolex VIP lounge, and that's quite the experience. But basically, like if you're going through an experience like that, you get like a bottle of champagne and some cookies and some really cool customer service. But is that worth $2,000 more, $3,000 more? And also with Rolex, it's a little different sometimes, especially because a lot of Rolexes are more expensive on secondary. So say you want a Daytona and you put your name on that wait list and you wait the year.
It's actually cheaper to go buy it at the retail, the authorized dealer when it comes in than buy it in the secondary.
Yeah, you wait your 3 years or whatever it is. And after that, you get the... $12,000 price on the Daytona instead of
dude, that's so painful,
30?
bro. That's so painful.
Yeah, but the secondary is like 30 grand.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's just brutally painful how much Rolexes cost. It's just it hurts my feelings.
Here we go. This is Scott Gabrielia's Everyday Carry Buffalo. So he's the guy that said don't do it.
How about I use the most warranty everything? Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of guys that buy them used because they say buying a lot of watches used, it's kind of like buying a good car used, right? Like,
and see, I've already bought a $2,500 watch off the internet. You know what? There was no experience. It was just, I sold. So I didn't spend $2,500 out of pocket. I literally sold $2,500 worth of gear.
Right.
I had the exact amount of the watch. It wasn't $2,500. It was like $2,485 or something. And I had the intention of buying that watch. I knew the price. I didn't actually add all of this stuff up that I had for sale. I just put a bunch of stuff up for sale on the server, sold it, looked at my PayPal, had the watch in my cart at the checkout, ready to go, and they were the exact same amount down to the penny. And I'm just like, well, I have to now.
Oh, dude, hold on. Dustin, I can't pronounce his last name.
DiBenedetto.
Yeah, read that shit.
No lie, this is 100% true. One night after a shower, mind you, I found an actual slug in my beard. It crawled up in there and died.
That's fucking great. I found some weird shit in my beard. I don't know that I've ever found a fucking slug though, dude. I'd be like, what? That's awesome. That's some man shit right there if I ever heard one.
That is some man shit. I had to get rid of mine. You gave me a lot of grief about it, but
you got to let it go, bub.
I did not want to be mad at my daughter, who at the time, I guess she was like 5 months old. She would not go to sleep. She was like 3 a.m. I'm, so tired I can barely keep my eyes open. And she's wide awake, won't take a bottle, and I'm just holding her, and she's reaching up and grabbing my beard, like 1 or 2 hairs way back up in here, and just yank. And I'm just like,
Kids got that grip, dude. They got that grab, and they just grip everything. Yeah.
And I'm like, I love you, but this cannot happen again. So, dude, I chopped it off the next morning. I woke up, and that's the first thing I did. So, and yeah, this is what I'm talking about. 3,500 versus 5,500 stickers on my Aquaterra. You can go to an authorized dealer and get a Rolex or, whatever watch, maybe not a Rolex, but like a Tudor Black Bay. Actually, that's probably another bad example because they're just so hard to find, but like an Omega. Right? We'll go with the Speedmaster. I want a Speedmaster really bad. MSRP on the one I want is about $6,000. The Sapphire Sandwich. You can find them secondary for like 35.
We need to talk about that actually. Real quick, click Justin Roberts
Hang on. I'm going to go with this one. If Taylor can buy a $400 flashlight, he can buy a Rolex. No.
I
didn't
get
buy
his
this.
theory though, right? His theory is if you can afford to spend $400 on a flashlight, you can afford to spend that on a. But that it's a little different because spending 400 is very different than spending 12,000.
Yeah, and now technically you could get like a date just, an old vintage date just for $1,200, $2,000. But one, I didn't buy this. This was sent to me by Okluma to make a video on, which after they sent it to me and a bunch of other stuff, they're like, don't make the video yet. Like, okay. So I didn't buy that. And two, that is a totally different price tier. We're talking 10 times the price.
Yeah, I mean that's a big difference.
Entry. So
I have to agree with. I don't agree with Taylor on much, but I agree with him on this one. What I was going to say is this guy up here, Justin Roberts, that said he wanted some suggestions in this area for cigar shops. I buy a lot of stuff online, but the two local cigar shops that I do patronize is there is a cigar shop at the end of Bay Meadows Road in San Jose. I don't know if you're familiar with the Jacksonville area, but Bay Meadows Road, San Jose. It's called Tobacco Cove. It's been there since like the 70s. It's this little bitty privately owned small little shop, but I love the guys in there. There's always at least 2 or 3 like 70-year-old dudes in there smoking cigars. It's like that kind of vibe. Good selection. I love those guys in there. And then I go to what the hell's the other place? Island Girl on Gate Parkway. Huge humidor. Walk-in humidor the size of like some people's apartment.
hey, I need a humidor and to buy some cigars. Dude, I thoroughly enjoyed the cigar that I smoked last weekend or 2 weekends ago. The Romeo y Julieta. That was really good. However, it also
this is the way, man. This is the way.
My ass because I had those like 9 IPAs and a cigar, and I smoked the whole thing, and probably shouldn't have, to be honest. I mean,
if you're not used to smoking cigars, the nicotine, certain cigars can definitely.
That was the 3rd cigar I've ever had in my life. 3rd or 4th.
I've known guys that have got into a cigar and it's made them sick. If you ever do start getting sick from a cigar, by the way, sweets.
I didn't get sick.
Well, no, but I'm saying if you ever do, just for anybody that's listening, if you ever do start to get that kind of like dizzy, nauseous, weird feeling when you're smoking a cigar from too much nicotine, if I'm not mistaken, it has something to do with what nicotine does to blood sugar. It makes your blood sugar bottom out, if I'm remembering the science correctly. But regardless, like a spoonful of honey, a couple Starbursts, a hunk of chocolate, like anything with a high sugar content will usually snap you out of it relatively quickly.
Dark Shot says Rolex is overrated. They make a good $1,000 watch and charge $10,000 for it. There's definitely a Rolex tax for sure.
Oh, there's for sure an argument there, but Rolexes are still dope, dude.
They are, but personally, if I'm going for a watch in say like the $6,000 range, I'm going Omega or stepping down just a little and getting a Tudor Black Bay. Right,
well, dude. Okay, I'm glad you said that.
I would love to have a Submariner. I really would, but at the same time, like, I don't want to spend $10,000, and I'd rather have a Tudor Black Bay 58 or an Omega Seamaster 300.
So that's my next watch.
You were talking about the Omega.
That is my next watch.
Or the Black Bay,
the Tudor Black Bay. The question is, do I go Black Bay or do I go Black Bay 58?
58.
I just don't know, man, because it's thinner. I like that it's thinner. It's not as thick, right?
Honestly, it's not that different from your Oris. I mean, they are different watches, but they are very similar watches.
Well, here's why
even down to the bracelet. You've got a riveted bracelet.
You do have a riveted bracelet.
Like, I'm just saying.
Here's my problem with the 58.
Well, hold on. Before that, the other thing is they're extremely similar watches. However, when it comes to servicing them, that one on your wrist is going to be a couple $100 to service. That Tudor is going to be far more expensive.
Oh, it's got an in-house movement. They switched over to in-house movements back, a couple years back they switched over? 2, 3, 5 years?
So,
it hasn't been that long. Well, here's my situation, right? I want the red dial or the red bezel one. That's the one I want. The gilt in red, right? They don't make the 58 in the red. They only make it in black and then the new blue. I don't like the blue. It looks really good on a leather strap, actually. I watched a video from Bark and Jack. You ever watch that guy? He's like a British guy. He does a lot of watch videos. He does some good stuff. He has a watch band company. He does a bunch of Rolex, higher end watch videos. He showed it on a brown leather strap, and it actually looked very nice on a brown leather strap. But I don't really care for the blue one. And I have a bunch of dark faced silver watch divers. I don't want another. I specifically want the red.
Yeah.
So they don't make that in the 58, but I like the dimensions. I don't know 39 millimeters though, dude. 39's a little.
Dude, it's fine. This one's 39 and I've got bigger wrists than you.
Yeah, but you have sausage wrists. It's different. Your wrist is as thick as it is wide. So it's different. My wrist is probably wider than yours, even though your wrist is a half inch bigger around than mine.
I don't know. 39 looks fine. 39.
This is a 40, and I like the 40.
I think you could step down to a 39 and not really notice much of a difference.
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
I mean, let's be real. A 39, I mean, you're talking, what, a millimeter? That's a half a millimeter on either side. That's not much.
And you're also talking, like, your wrist presence matters a lot, too. So I have this down here. I was talking about this. You probably barely hear me. In the Discord server last night, because I have two Laurier watches. They're both 39 millimeters. They have all the same measurements in the case except for the thickness.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the same case width, same case or bezel diameter, same everything, right? But the wrist presence is totally different. So this one you can see sticks up a pretty good bit. With the crystal, it's like 15 millimeters. And I love the way this one looks on my wrist. This feels perfect.
I think that's what Black Bay is 15. It's a thick boy.
But this is, as you can already probably tell, much thinner. And it looks a lot smaller. Even though they have the same lug to lug, same diameter, everything, it just, something about it looks smaller on my wrist. Now, after wearing much smaller watches for so long, this one looks totally fine on my wrist. But a few months ago, I was so on the fence about this watch because it just seemed so small compared to everything I had. Granted, one of the watches in my collection at the time was almost 47 millimeters. So
I mean, that's a big dog. I mean, I'm not into the super big.
It was 17 millimeters thick. Yeah, and when you put it on like a NATO or a leather pass through, it was 18.
Yeah, thick. That's a big boy. I like to stick 40 to 42 is my sweet spot. Anything bigger than 42 is, I mean, it's fine. 44 is fine, but you start getting to 44, it gets a little big for my personal taste. But I really like 40 to 42. Anything below 40, it starts to get. But somebody had just made a comment that the lug width. I'm assuming they meant lug to lug, not lug width. But
no, lug width, because this right here. This is a 43 and it's got a 22 millimeter strap width, which is it adds to the presence a ton.
See, but the lug to lug makes a huge difference too, because you can have a small face, but if you got a big ass lug to lug and it hangs over the edge of your wrist, it's going to look goofy.
Yeah. I still really like this glycine I picked up.
Dude, I love my glycine. I have a Goldeneye, the Combat Sub Goldeneye. I fucking love that watch. I put it on a brown leather band. I wear it all the time. It is a great watch.
Nick Shamrock, it hasn't popped up in our chat, so I can't feature it yet. There we go. Is the Whiskey Knife Fight on Spotify? No, not yet, because this isn't technically the podcast yet. We're just hanging out. So we haven't really recorded a podcast.
No.
Do either of you own any vintage watches? No. I have basically all vintage inspired watches except for probably my Damasco, but I don't have any vintage.
Yeah, see, here's a guy that says Barking Jack. He says they show the watches beautifully on there. They do, man. His cinematography on the watches, he has some macro lenses that he gets in tight, and I mean, it shows every little detail, and he shows some nice wide shots with it on his wrist and stuff too. But if you want to get a good look at a watch, if he's got a review on his channel, it's definitely a good channel to watch for looking at watches because they look awesome.
Shoeman 13. Oh, that's the guy with the Peter with picture or Peter with picture with Peter
from last week, or was it last week? It was 2 weeks since we did the last one of these, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said, "Are the Hangouts going to end when the real podcast starts?" No, we're probably going to do this like once a month. So we'll keep the podcast going, but this will happen once a month, and we'll just hang out, chill, drink whiskey, and not be recording a podcast, but just kind of a community thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's good because it gives us a chance to, like I said, if we only do 10 or 15 minute segments in the podcast of answering questions, we're not going to be able to get to very many of them. So these are good to kind of have some conversations with you folks. And I need some more. I'm dry here.
I'm still in that first pour, but this is the
Well,
last.
you had a substantially larger pour than me. What is the next one that I should go with? Should we go, dude? Have you had the? Well, I guess you probably haven't. For any of you guys that are listening, have any of you had the? Speaking of Michter's, the Michter's Sour Mash Toasted Barrel, not just the normal sour mash, but the Toasted Barrel Sour Mash. Oh shit, that stuff is good, man. And the Toasted Barrel Rye, the Toasted Barrel Proof Rye, is one of my favorite Michter's I've ever had. Fucking delicious.
I'm really enjoying this. This is going to be a staple.
It's I got to get another pour. It is like candy in a bottle. Somebody had said that earlier and I totally agree. That shit is candy in a bottle. It is delicious.
So I don't hate.
Ooh, somebody's smoking a T52. I was just about to get up.
I don't hate the bullet.
Cigars? If so, do you prefer 9 or T52? I know 9 tends to be the more. I don't have my headphone on, so this is very unprofessional because I don't know what the hell's going on. But I actually do prefer the T52 over the 9 myself personally. You know.
I'll wait to say what I was going to say until he's back because I was going to talk about something that maybe he won't approve of. I don't know. I think he might ridicule me over it, but it has to do with bullet rye. I know that it's not the best rye ever, but I think it's a good staple for the price. But this is not that much more in taste. Significantly better. Also, this is a pretty big step up in alcohol percentage. Oh boy, what did he grab?
Clanking bottles and shit. Jesus Christ. Wheels falling off the bus over here, bro. Hold on.
What
Headphones on fucking backwards. Hold on.
Oh, Gramps over here doesn't know how the headphones work.
Fuck you, millennial.
What I said when you were away is I don't know how you feel about it, but I really don't hate the bullet rye. That's been kind of my go-to rye for a while because I tried some more expensive ryes and didn't like them. Mm-hmm. I think I tried Basil Hayden's rye, which was all right. Mm-hmm. I don't think I got the Whistle Pig rye. What was it? I got Redemption rye. It was not.
Fuck Whistle Pig. Sorry, that was had something in my throat.
I didn't enjoy Redemption at all. It was not that good.
To answer before we go too far off, I do not like Bullet Rye. I like Bullet, their normal stuff, like their normal bourbon, their 10-year.
Tastes like a Manhattan without anything. It just tastes kind of like a Manhattan. I didn't enjoy Templeton either.
The Bullet Rye had too much of I don't want to say medicinal. It was too much like a eucalyptus. That's the flavor I couldn't think of. It had too much of a eucalyptus note for me. To me, there was a lot of eucalyptus in it that I didn't care for. I do like their 10-year and they have like a barrel proof or a stronger. I can't remember what they call it, but I do like
Black Label.
Yeah. I do like some of the Bullet products, but not the rye. You know what's a good cheap rye is Tin Cup rye. They had just sent me some. And that shit was good. I didn't like.
Look at this guy getting whiskey sent to him. What? Yeah. We have a local distillery that won't send me shit.
So this is the next one. And everybody should be familiar with this. This is anybody in the whiskey community. This is a staple. I told you to get one of these when you were at the store, and you were like, eh.
Okay, this is kind of dumb and vain, but I wanted something different for the picture this time.
I mean, I get you.
Wait, this is a very smooth cork.
But you should. Oh, I didn't hear the pop. Try it again. I didn't hear any pop.
It was just very.
No, dude, that was perfect. That sounded like a sound effect. It was like.
This is.
Sound like when you pull your finger out of a girl's butt.
This is very smoky. Ooh, I haven't had Ardbeg in like 6 months, so I'm gonna have a hard time comparing this with Ardbeg. But holy crap! Right off the top, like, whew. All right. So this is Port Charlotte.
That's a crazy looking bottle too.
Yeah, where's the focus? Here
It
we
almost
go.
looks like a bottle of medicine or something, like an old school bottle of medicine because it's got that real short, stubby neck.
Yeah, and look at the back.
Oh yeah, dude, that definitely looks like an old like 1910 bottle of like
And we're dealing with
snake
50%.
oil.
We're dealing with 50% here.
See, Taylor, if you don't have, I know you didn't want to for the picture and whatnot, but you got to get a bottle of this in your collection. Everybody should have a bottle of 1920. 1920 is delicious.
I got to grow the collection. I don't really have a place to put it here, but I don't want to. Like, I'm so torn between whether to have the whiskey at home or here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this was not as tall of a pour, but there might be a little bit of mixing with rye in here. There's also a hair.
That gives it flavor.
Oh yeah. Digging my finger all through the whiskey.
God damn, that stuff is good, dude. This damn Old Forester 1920, son. That is a.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, that is
Petey.
I just licked my finger and it's like. I already feel like I'm sitting by a campfire and I've not even taken a sip. Dude, this might be my jam.
You like the peaty stuff.
Whew.
What?
A lot of similarities with Ardbeg.
Really?
A lot, yeah. Definitely a little more medicinal, but not bad. Not bad at all, but just straight smoke. Like, I literally feel like I'm smoking a cigar.
Well, you should get some Octomore if you ever see it, because that's what everybody. I've never had Octomore, but everybody says Octomore is just like an absolute fucking smoke bomb.
My mouth is dry. This is extremely dry, but I don't hate this at all. Like I feel so. I hate saying this because it does make me feel like an alcoholic, which I'm clearly not because I drink like 4 times a month. But it does not matter what mood I'm in. I could be in the worst mood in the world. I can be bored out of my mind. I can be sad. It doesn't matter. If I take a sip of a peated scotch, like an Isla Scotch, I'm immediately happy and at peace. Like it just puts me at this really good place always.
Whiskey does that, man. Like I told my wife I was a little stressed out because I mean, me and you have talked. I had the week from hell. You had a week too, and one of my videos went sideways and I fucked it up, and I had to like do a bunch of reshooting and re-editing because I forgot something in the video, and it cost me like 2 or 3 days of work. Big nightmare of a week. But
I'm sorry. I'm really enjoying this now.
But
go ahead.
I hadn't had whiskey all week. I had told you that I had been dry all week. I hadn't had any whiskey in 3 or 4 days. And my wife was like, you should definitely drink some whiskey tonight. You'll do it on the podcast. You'll be in a better mood tomorrow. Because it does, man. Like sitting down at night with a glass of whiskey, like it doesn't matter how shitty your day is. Get you a nice cigar, a little pour of whiskey. It doesn't have to be a lot. I'm not saying get drunk. Just a couple fingers of whiskey and a cigar, and it melts the worries away.
It's got a good color too. Very similar to a Lagavulin, maybe a little more yellow.
You know what's weird is Ardbeg 10 is very light.
It's very clear. Well, it's not dyed. A lot of them are dyed.
Now bourbons aren't. A lot of the scotches are though.
A lot of scotches are, yeah.
You're not allowed to do that with bourbon, but Ardbeg 10 is very clear. Wee Beastie is actually darker than the 10 and it's younger. So I don't understand what the hell went on there. But I don't know. It's very strange. I don't know.
I'd love to try more Ardbegs, but the only ones I've ever seen are the Ardbeg 10 and the I don't know how to say it. Urg. I don't know how to say it.
I think it's Ugadal. I think that's how you say it. I think I could. It's a weird one.
Those are the only 2 I've seen, and I always hesitate to buy a scotch that's in the like $60 to $80 range that I've not tried because I've bought one and I just hated it, and then I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Like, I don't want to drink it. This was 65, I think, and I'm very happy with it. But I have done a lot of reading on Port Charlotte too. So,
well, here's the thing. In my opinion, you can't go wrong with Ardbeg. I have yet to have an Ardbeg that I didn't like. I definitely like some more than others. I have my favorites, but I wouldn't say any of them are bad. I've liked every Ardbeg I've ever had. I
don't think I've had an Isla Scotch that I didn't love.
I would agree with that. I've definitely had some Speyside and some Highlands that I didn't care for.
Yeah, I don't care for them. Yeah.
But I have not had an Isla that I didn't like. I would, because I like all the Lagavulins I've had, all the Ardbegs I'd like. I've never had Lafroig though, and a lot of people.
It's a lot more harsh, but it's more like an Ardbeg than it is a Lagavulin.
Mm.
It's more medicinal. It's very heavy on the peat smoke, but not quite as much as Ardbeg. I like him. I like all three: Lagavulin, Lafroig, and Ardbeg. And now Port Charlotte. I've got 4 that I can pick up anywhere.
Somebody had just said that they think Ugadal is their favorite of the Ardbegs. I agreed with him until I had Wee Beastie. I still like Ugadal. It still might be my favorite, but if you like Ugadal and you've never had Wee Beastie, if you can get a bottle of it, I definitely recommend you pick up a bottle and try it. I think it's the sweetest of the line. And it's the youngest. You would think it'd be the harshest, but I thought it was the kind of easiest.
What would you suggest for an Ardbeg for someone who's never had? Have you never had a peated Scotch or like a peated whiskey?
Have you ever had Isla Scotch at all?
Yeah, that's the question to ask. Like,
because here's the thing: if you've never had an Isla Scotch, I would almost recommend going somewhere where you could buy a pour of it, or going to a friend's house that has it and try it before you buy a bottle, because it is a very distinct and aggressive flavor that if you don't like it, you're going to fucking hate it.
Yeah. And if you buy a bottle of this, it's $50-$60 for, the entry-level bottles. I don't know if the WBC is cheaper.
It is. It's their entry level. I think right now it's a little inflated because it's new. So its secondary prices are kind of through the roof, but I think the retail is supposed to be about $40 or $50.
Well, that's the Ardbeg tin price. I mean, I pick it up from normally like 45.
Oh, really? I think it's more than that here.
But Caleb Gibbs says, I actually love Ardbeg, but can't drink Lafroig. Strange, right? No, because I think Lafroig's definitely got some more medicinal flavors to it and smells. They're definitely very different. Lafroig definitely makes my mouth numb, like more than any of them.
Right.
Lafroig does. But I still love it and still love all of them. And the other thing, going back to what you said about, like, if you've never tried one or even been around a heavily peated Scotch,
right.
Every time I've ever gone on press trips or there's an open bar, or even if I'm out at, a nice dinner, sometimes I'll get a Scotch. And if you order like a Lagavulin in a restaurant, everybody around you knows you're drinking Lagavulin.
It's got a smell, man.
It fills the room with like a campfire peated smell, and it is distinct. You know it as soon as you smell it.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex hates it. She absolutely. So if I drink Scotch, I have to like brush my teeth, chew some gum, drink some other stuff, like get it out of my mouth before I go to bed, or she will be so mad.
No,
she hates it.
You got to get a girl that'll give you an open mouth kiss when you got a dip in your mouth.
No, she would not do that.
That's
either.
A keeper right there, bro. If they'll give you an open mouth kiss when you got a dip in your mouth right after you just drank a big bottle of Lafroig, that's a keeper. To answer his question, though, I would have prior to today maybe suggested starting with Ugadal, just because I think it's the sweetest, even though it's a little proofier. It's also more expensive, but now that I've had Wee Beastie, I think it is the easiest drinking of the line. Personally.
Well, it's also going to be a what's available sort of thing too.
Right. But I still stand with my original thing of don't buy a whole bottle. Try to find somewhere you can get a pour of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
you'll pay like $12 a glass, but it's better to pay the $12 a glass and realize you're not going to like it than to buy a $50-$60 bottle and then be stuck with it.
Exactly.
I mean, granted, you could give that to somebody, and I'm sure somebody would really appreciate it, but still, save yourself some money up front, test it out, go spend $20-$30 at a bar or a restaurant, try them, and then there's a whiskey bar not far from me. I hate being in this pandemic because there is a phenomenal whiskey bar just like 10 miles from my house.
Dude, can I say that I've never met anybody that was on the fence about Isla Scotches? Either
it's a love or hate. They're very polarizing.
They fucking love them and it's their favorite thing in the whiskey world, or they're like, that shit tastes like hot garbage that has been set on fire. Like, it's one or the other. It's not like some whiskeys where they're like, yeah, it's okay.
So the funny thing, when Alex was pregnant, she hated the smell of Scotch. She didn't like the taste. She just hated my Scotches. But when she was pregnant, So about a year and a half ago, I just popped open a Lagavulin and she's like, "Can I smell that?" I'm like, yeah. And she's like, "This smells amazing." And I'm like,
What?
I know. Where have you been? I absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. And you just trash it every time I break open the bottle. And now you want to smell it? Hey, nice glass. I can't turn mine that far. There we go.
See, I've sped up now. I'm on glass number 2.
Yeah, you don't have to drive home. I still have to drive home.
I always ease into the first one, man. The first one I always ease into, get the palate prepared, and then you can ramp things up a bit.
I've blown my palate out of the water. Like there's no going back now.
My next question is, Joe, come on, Jeremy. Come on, Jeremy. What? I don't know. What did I say?
I don't know.
Is he saying, come on, Jeremy, like, come on, Jeremy? Or is he saying, like, come on, Jeremy, what the fuck? I don't know what he means by that.
I don't know. Primal Man said, come on, Taylor, Jeremy is right. I don't know what Jeremy's right about, but he's usually wrong. So,
well, here's the thing. That gentleman is absolutely correct because I am always right.
The dip in your mouth. Joe said the dip in your mouth.
Oh, I mean, I used to dip. I don't anymore. I haven't in years, but I did for a long, long, long time. And my wife would kiss me when I had a dip in my mouth. Now she wouldn't open mouth kiss me. That's a bit of an aggressive statement, but she would give me a kiss if I had a dip in my mouth. She don't care. I mean, look, she deals with this, man.
True. Allison is a saint.
She is. If she could prove what's the threshold also, for being a saint, you have to prove 2 miracles and something else. Like,
I don't know, but if she also puts up with me, so she puts up with you as like a baseline, but also puts up with me, she's a saint.
She is. She's a good girl.
Schumann says, I'm literally still pissed about the whiskey glass drop. Literally was checking out, putting in my credit card, and then I hit order and they sold out before I hit the button. Dude, that's the Peter effect, man.
That's the Peter effect, bro. If you want one of his things, you better have like your fucking credit card information saved into the computer where you could like click a button because his shit sells out in like minutes.
Okay, so can I vent for a minute about what happened to me today? I came into the office.
Before you do though, do I go with this next?
I can't read that. I don't know what that is. Hang on. I don't know what that is. Cigar blend bourbon?
Joseph Magnus cigar blend, which is the shit's delicious. Or do I switch gears altogether and go Pete?
Pete all day.
Let's see what the people say.
Well, they're going to agree with me.
Joseph Magnus cigar malt, which is a damn good bottle. Or do I go into the world of Ardbeg? Go ahead with your story. I apologize. I'll wait to see some comments.
I don't know about the whiskey glasses. I think they're done. I don't think they're coming back.
I don't think he plans on making any more of them.
No. But my day. So I came into the office today with a plan to shoot a video, edit it, and upload today. Have another video out today.
One for Pete. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm just counting.
That's a pretty even spread right there.
Fuck, it is even. I was thinking it was going to be like one way or the other, but
yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the way to solve this fucking problem.
Have them both start with
I'll do this and then I'll go Pete after this one.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to do it anyway. Yeah, but so I came into the office with the idea of making a video today, shooting it, editing it, uploading it before we did this podcast. But one thing that Alex told me I had to do today was buy tickets to the Avett Brothers. So they're doing a show, like a drive-in show at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is right down the road from my house.
Pretty cool. I didn't think they did that much.
Well, they're doing it because of the pandemic, right? So you can socially distance and have this really cool show in this massive space that's not being used right now.
Can I real quick say fuck Corona?
Yeah, for real.
God damn, dude. Living in Florida, I'm real tired of this shit.
But I was like, hey, this is a good idea. Like, we can go tailgate with my new truck with the whole tailgate speaker system. Like, it's going to be sick. Mm-hmm. So I was on the website waiting at 12 o'clock for the tickets to go on sale. There were 1,500 tickets. They did a pre-sale yesterday for their like super supporters that pay whatever per year. Mm-hmm. I'm listening. And dude, noon on the dot, I had a ticket in my cart, went to check out, failed.
What?
I tried for an hour. I had the ticket in my cart. I tried for an hour, fail. Wow. Excuse you.
No, that was my chair. That was too high pitched. It was like,
dude, I tried and tried for an hour. These are a ticket per car, and you can put 6 people in a car, and the lowest ticket price was $100. The highest was 300. We were trying for the 300, but there were only like 20 slots for that. And then the rest were, $100 to 175, I think. And I tried and tried. It was so frustrating. I've never really done any of these drops with even the Shamwari. I didn't do that drop. I bought the secondary. I've never done a Pete drop because Pete's always just sent the stuff to me. Sorry, not sorry.
There are benefits.
But it was just so frustrating because I had it in my cart and it failed to check out. So I waited 30 minutes because it said it would put a hold on a ticket if it was in somebody's cart, right? So you had 30 minutes to check out. And I waited 30 minutes. Another one popped up, grabbed it, tried to check out. Same thing happened. And I tried that until they took the whole website down. I was literally sitting here and I had one in my cart and I was clicking checkout, 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 and it kept failing. And both Alex and my sister were so pissed at me. They were so mad. I'm like, look, I was there at 12. Like, I don't know what else you want me to do. Like, I did my best. I spent 4 hours today looking for tickets to the Avery Brothers because Alex has never been. It's one of her favorite bands of all time. They're local. They're from Concord. I've met them. They go to my coffee shop all the time. They're really good guys. I love their music. They're one of my favorite bands of all time too, and they're one of the best bands to see in person. And I was really kind of defeated. Like my sister was mad, Alex was mad, and I wasn't sure what to do. So I went on this website that sold secondary tickets. It was about 45 minutes after the tickets went on sale. One of the tickets that sold for $100 was on there for $600.
Jesus Christ.
And then I went through the checkout. I was just seeing what it would be. The service fee for that ticket was $180. And then they charged you $2.50 to email the ticket to you.
Good Lord.
They charged you $2.50 just to eat. Like
assholes.
So I waited and waited. There were some cheaper ones that popped up, $400 and some dollars. The service fee was still $200. Stupid. And then there was one ticket that was in the $100 lot, $1,200 for a ticket. And I'm just like, this is insane. So I did a little more digging. I found a Facebook group that was buy and sell Avett Brothers tickets, joined, and I ended up buying a ticket. And I offered the girl twice what she paid. I was going to pay her $250, and she said, "Look, if I sell you this for $250, I'm going to feel bad about it. I'll just pay me what I paid, and you can have the ticket." And I'm like,
somebody that actually isn't trying to scalp everybody. Nice.
Wow. Okay, so two things. First thing, she said she already bought a ticket, so she bought 2 tickets. She was one of the pre-sale girls, so she paid the annual fee and got a ticket early, but she didn't get the section she wanted yesterday, so she went on there today and lucked out and got the new section. So that's why she was just selling her ticket off. She wasn't like flipping it. But the second thing is the way they do this is she had access to the ticket before, and it's a first come, first serve. So I could print the ticket 500 times, hand it out to 500 people, and whoever gets there first gets in. So it could be she transferred the ticket to me. It's in my account, but it could be that she printed it out. And if she goes and gets there before me, then I don't get in. So I hope that's not the case, but I paid with PayPal. So if she does that, I'm charging that shit back and getting my money back. So I felt like it was worth, it was worth the risk to keep Alex and my sister off my back. Somebody said, what band? The Avett Brothers.
This whiskey, by the way. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. This shit is so good. I was really worried about the Port Charlotte.
Talk about something that makes your mouth numb. This shit's like 62 proof. So it's got a little, but man, deep flavor. It's really
62 proof?
Or percent.
Yeah, I was about to say.
62 proof is low.
I was about to say.
It's 100 and what? I just had the bottle. Here it is. It is 62 alcohol by volume. It doesn't have but it's double. So what's double that?
Yeah, 124.
Yeah. So it's got some bite on it, man.
This is 100 proof.
It's got some bite. 124.
This does look like medicine, especially when you turn it around this way.
Oh, by the way, somebody had said something about these guys right here.
Was that your Pete's Pirate Life?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get one. I never got one.
That's the V2.
No, I never got one.
They're that logo on the back, dude. Whoever did that is a freaking beast because it looks very nice. Very, very nice. Those coins are next level.
Sorry, I'm zoning out because I'm so happy right now.
Because of it's the Isla effect. That's the name.
What's going to happen is if I drink an Isla Scotch on this podcast on the reg, I'm going to start going into this like super chill mode, and I'm going to just start like you're going to see me just sitting here with my eyes closed, just smiling. That's what happens.
The Ardbeg effect. I dig smaller design a lot. Anything new coming around? What?
I don't see there. I didn't see where that was. This.
Oh wait.
Oh, they're talking to CJ.
Oh, what's the guy above it? Jeremy, from your earlier comment, what's the dislike with Whistle Pig? Here's the thing. I'm going to do a podcast with the Bourbon Junkies, or not a podcast. I got podcast on the brain. I'm going to do a live stream with the Bourbon Junkies sometime soon because they sent me a bunch of Whistle Pigs that I'm going to blind taste test and see if I can get my opinion of Whistle Pig changed. They said there are some good ones out there. I do not like Whistle Pig because I bought a bottle of the 10. Whistle Pig 10, pretty popular, pretty common Whistle Pig you can find in most areas. It's between usually $75 and $95 a bottle, depending on your location. So it's not cheap. And I thought it fucking sucked. And it pissed me off because it was that expensive and it tasted like grass. Like it was a very grassy, it tastes like young, weird. I just didn't like it. It was very grassy, it tasted underdeveloped and young and just shitty. And I was fucking so mad that I paid $85 for that bottle that I like went on a talk shit about Whistle Pig spree for like months. And then Dan and Sean were like, I agree. Whistle Pig is overpriced. A lot of their stuff isn't worth what they're charging, but there's a couple bottles you should give a try. So I actually have about 6 samples of Whistle Pig back there they sent me, and we're going to do a live one night and see if I can switch my opinions of Whistle Pig.
Well, Justin Navarro knows what's up. I am high on Isla.
He is. I saw when I was talking, I looked at your face and you had kind of like a glazed over happy look for a second.
It puts me in my happy place, man. And enough Isla and Taylor may actually admit Jeremy was right about something.
Probably not.
Wrong.
Yeah. I was about to say, I don't know. There's enough Isla I don't think there's enough Isla on this bar behind me, which is to make Taylor ever admit that I'm right.
Yeah, but also you're talking about something being young and underdeveloped. Jeremy feels the same way about anything that's really younger than him, which is most things on this planet. So just putting that out there. This one right here from Luke Rogers. Either of you ever listened to Coulter Wall? Absolutely. Coulter Wall is one of the best things that come out of Canada music-wise, possibly ever. He sounds like an old Johnny Cash, like old late album Johnny Cash, and the dude's like 22. You look at him and you expect he's going to have like a pretty high-pitched nasally voice, maybe, I don't know, and then he starts singing and it's about 4 octaves lower than I could ever sing.
Right. I don't even know who that is, so that gives you my answer.
He is amazing. I don't know if I can screen share with audio. That would be cool if I could.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
We don't want to turn this into a
I think I can.
Everybody listening to music fucking podcast.
No, I'm not going to everybody listen to music, but if we can get his all right, so I don't think you can hear this yet, but I think you can tell me if you can hear it.
Ooh, that shit.
You can't hear that. But if I do that.
Yeah, I can hear it now. I can also hear myself, though, which is weird.
Something to admit.
Listen to that voice.
I met a man in the sticks, a good old miss.
I'm not feeling it, bro.
Well, it's okay to be wrong. You're usually wrong.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I listen to more of it, I might feel differently. But this is going to piss probably like a lot of people off. I'm not big into country music.
I hate country music. Country music's awful.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to go that aggressive. There's definitely some country that I like. I really am a big fan of. Oh fuck! I just drew a blank. Big long hair, beard, great voice. Stapleton. Wait.
Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. Big fan of Chris Stapleton. I love that guy. But other than that, like I just this is not my jam, man. I went through a phase where I really enjoyed.
He likes radio rock.
I don't like radio rock either. You know what I
He's a
listen to?
Nickelback fan.
No, you know what I listen to more than anything?
Static X.
No, you know what I listen to more than anything?
Post Malone. I know.
Dude, I listen to it constantly. Constantly. I love Post Malone. It's weird. I know that's a weird choice for somebody that looks like me probably, but it just makes me happy. It's happy music, man. It just makes your head nod a little bit. I don't know. There's something about it, dude. It's kind of like the Isla effect. It just puts me in a good mood.
Americana and bluegrass put me in that same place. And that isn't country to me. That is more Americana, more folksy. That's the sort of stuff I like. Folksy, Americana, bluegrass. But you start getting into like radio country and pop country and country rap and all that shit.
I'm out.
I hate it so much. It's so bad.
Rascal Flatts could absolutely catch on fire and I wouldn't care. They could catch on fire and I wouldn't care. I'd be like, oh, it's too bad they burned up. Oh, dude, by the way, just some interesting stuff to talk about. What does he say? Post Malone is 0.0 of Jeremy. What? I figured Jeremy was
Post Malone is the 0.01% of germs mouthwash won't kill.
I used to be a metal guy. Somebody said I used to be a metalhead, and I do listen to a good bit of that. Lately,
I listen to metal.
Lately, I've just been in a big Post Malone thing. Now, on my videos, I almost always play kind of like a bluegrassy, jazz, country, guitar, electric kind of thing because I like that music in videos and stuff. But like when I'm just chilling, listening to music, just to relax, I like some Post Malone. I also like a lot of old music, like Led Zeppelin, Bob Marley.
I've never cared for
old
any
rock,
of that.
Jimi Hendrix. I know you're going to be like, you old fuck, but I've got an actual like record player, like an actual turntable. And I have.
That's because you haven't figured out how to use Spotify yet.
No, it sounds different, man. Vinyl sounds different. You get some good speakers and a good turntable and listen to some vinyl. It's got a warmness to it that you lose when you go digital.
Yeah, you sound like such a hipster.
It's not a hipster thing. It's just
it is a hipster thing. What metal bands do you guys like? Personal all-time favorite is also another local band who I've actually met a couple of members of and befriended. Between the Buried and Me, always going to be one of my favorite bands. They are just next level. Always will be. Glass Casket too. I've been listening to Glass Casket this week. So
I'm a hipster, and you're saying shit like Glass Casket. Who the fuck is that? That's some like.
That's a side project from Between the Buried and Me.
Oh, okay.
You say metal, and you're talking about like hair metal or something from the 70s and 80s. I don't know.
Everybody has to like Metallica, though, right? Like,
no.
What? Old Metallica, like And Justice for All. Come on, dude. What?
Never did anything for me.
Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Well, that's because you weren't born yet.
It just never did anything for me at all.
Dude, And Justice for All is one of my favorite.
I was always more of like a Seneca, Between the Buried and Me, Beneath the Massacre, Into the Moat, Ion Dissonance sort of thing.
Pantera's good. Dude, you know who has an awesome voice is the guy from Stained. What's his name? Aaron Lewis. Have you ever heard some of his side projects?
I knew that you would be a Stained fan.
No, not Stained. Aaron Lewis, his side projects.
You look like a Stained fan. You also have a Maul Ninja knife. Look at you.
You're a fucking Stained in my underwear, bitch. Have you ever listened to Stained? Aaron Lewis, not Stained. Aaron Lewis, like some of his side. He did a country album. Dude, he's got a great voice, dude. It's awesome.
No, Tosha Nabasi. Now that guy is a magician with a guitar. You should listen to Animals as Leaders sometime.
See? Right there. Vinyl, and I'm not a hipster. And is he doing this? Oh, I thought he was, he did the okay. I thought he was flip. I was like, yeah, flip Taylor off. I thought he was flipping Taylor off. Black Album. Black Album's good. How can you not like Metallica, dude? That's probably like the godfather of metal, dude. It's Metallica, bro.
Just never did anything for me.
Oh,
ever.
God, dude.
Never did.
Come on. Oh, dude, Shinedown. I don't like a lot of their stuff, but that lead singer, they did a cover of Leonard Skinner. What's the song? Oh, fuck. Simple Man. Fucking A, dude. That guy rips.
What you need to listen to, and I'm going to send you a link to this afterwards. I think it was The Anatomy of Between the Buried and Me did a cover album of just a bunch of old hits. They did Bicycle Race by Queen.
Tool is great, by the way.
And
said Tool.
Most people who cover Queen suck.
Yeah.
They suck. I would argue that Between the Buried and Me's version of Bicycle Race was almost as good as Queen's. It was very, very good. But also, they did Kickstart My Heart and Cemetery Gates, and just the whole album absolutely slays. It is one of my favorites because they are such a talented band. They do like prog metal. That's their main thing, prog metal. And they'll throw bluegrass into a song and jazz solos, and then they can cover things like Queen. And dude, it's just so good. I need to send it to you, and you need to listen to it.
Guilty pleasure.
Taylor Swift.
T-Swift, baby. Get some T-Swift.
Yeah, I hate Taylor Swift.
I can't stand it either.
She is the bane of my existence.
I have a wife and a daughter, though, so there is Taylor Swift occasionally being played around here. But
if you look at my recommended on Spotify, there's a whole shit ton of Frozen in there.
No, I forgot the name of the band now. Shit. Something Ants. Or no, what was it? They did a cover of Smooth Criminal for Michael Jackson. I cannot think of the band name now.
I don't know, but Nebula says, Taylor, stop talking about subgenres. It will make Jeremy confused.
I don't even know what subgenres means.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I'm a hipster.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've been into metal for a very long time. I got kind of Alien Ant Farm.
That dude.
Oh man.
Guilty pleasure. Every time I hear that song, I'm like, I jammed that fucking song, dude. It's so good. It's so good. If you don't like that, come on. Do you like Smooth Criminal?
Well, yeah, that song's fine, but I wish somebody in the chat would tell us what band you were talking about.
It's Alien Ant Farm.
It's like 50 of them.
That's because it's awesome, because people know it's fucking awesome. I'm telling you, dude, guilty pleasure. It's one of those like older songs, but it's fucking great.
You need to listen to Animals as Leaders, though. You absolutely do.
I'm smoking a Brick House Maduro. Somebody just asked, coming in late, what am I smoking? Although this is what I was going to smoke. I actually pulled it out for the live stream, and I ended up smoking this. And depending on how much longer, I doubt we're going to go long enough for me to light this big fucking dong right here. But this is a, oh, fuck. Come on, bitch. There we go. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Malditos
Bastards. Bastardos. Dude, for a guy that reviews cigars a lot, I am so fucking horrific at pronouncing anything even remotely Spanish. Like
or in general. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, my English isn't great all the time either, if I'm being honest. But this is
Florida man tries to speak Spanish.
Dude, I don't even want to get into Florida, man. Oh, God, some of the people in Florida. We're not going to talk about it on the podcast because this is everybody's escape from all the shit that you're hearing on the news these days. But goddamn, there's some fucking stupid people in Florida right now.
Huntington Beach as well. There was a video uploaded the other day about these guys. There was these guys going around trying to give out free masks, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a mask?" And dude, the responses will make you not want to live on this planet anymore. It's just so from a place that you would think is very progressive, dude, and probably very liberal.
I'm not even gonna get into that conversation because
I don't either.
I get fired up.
I don't either, but you need to search mask Huntington Beach. I think that's what you have to search. And it's worth a watch. Dude, the host of the channel, Huntington Beach mask. Yeah. That'll get it to
This guy says, how do you live in Florida and not know how to pronounce Spanish words? I live in North Florida. So yes, if you live in South Florida, you're probably got corona, because Jesus Christ, there's a lot of corona in South Florida right now. But B, yes, there is a very, very high amount of Spanish speaking people down there. Up here, there is not.
So this is the channel, and go watch this video right here. It's not right now. Go later.
Yeah.
But,
why are you showing people what to watch, Taylor? We're in the middle of a damn live stream.
just go watch this later. Chad Goes Deep. It's
That
worth
sounds
a
like
watch.
a porn name.
Well, you're
Chad,
old, so.
Chad Goes Deep. That's got to be a porn title.
Anyway,
got to be.
The video was hilarious. It'll make you hate everything, but the guy who, I guess his name is Chad, he's fantastic. He's such a great guy. I think he's probably going to be on the rise now, because a lot of big channels have been pushing that video, but it's hilarious.
I just hate everything right now. That's why I don't talk about it, because
speaking of channels, just completely off topic, this channel is what, 2/3 of the way to being monetized already. We've done
nice.
one live stream.
Awesome. You guys kick ass.
Yeah.
Y'all kick ass.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. We're
Slipknot.
at almost 2,000 subs and over 3,000 watch hours, and we only need 4,000 to get monetized. But then again, I played some Coulter Wall, and you said "fuck" in the first 20 seconds, so
Yeah, that one.
We might not ever get monetized.
I think "fuck" is okay, and you might have gotten away with that one "fuck," but the what's that thing?
What, the Brick House Maduro?
Yeah. Some guy said Slipknot. Yes, I do like Slipknot. I actually like it's funny because the guy that is the lead singer of Slipknot can actually sing. Like if you hear him actually sing, because, usually in Slipknot, he's just like doing the Cookie Monster, that whole thing, but he can actually sing.
Wow.
That hurt your ear?
I can no longer hear anything.
I just peaked the fucking mics. But he's usually doing the Cookie Monster yell, but in Slipknot, but he's actually got a good voice.
Yeah, that was something. You do not have a career in metal vocals?
No, I for sure don't. I'm smoking Brick Maduro tonight. We took it down.
Since I cannot go back to my rye whiskey, and I only have 3 whiskeys here to choose from, we're going back to Port Charlotte.
Dude, Corey Taylor. Yeah, that's him. Corey Taylor is a badass dude. Have you had Slipknot's whiskey? No, but I can't imagine it's any good. I think I actually watched, if I'm not mistaken, they did that on Whiskey Tribe, or did they do it on Whiskey Vault? I don't remember which. It was either Whiskey Tribe or Whiskey Vault. They tasted all the musician whiskeys, and I don't think the Slipknot one came in very, very high. I think they said it kind of sucked.
They should step outside whiskeys and try Dan Aykroyd's vodka. Or is it tequila? I think it's vodka. The Crystal Skull.
I've been seeing a shit ton of stuff about the Rocks tequila.
I haven't. I hate tequila. I like mezcal sometimes. So if you're not familiar with mezcal or tequila, all tequila is mezcal. Not all mezcal is tequila. It's kind of like bourbon and whiskey. Mezcal can be very smoky and taste a lot like a scotch, but it's got more of instead of like a peat smoke, it's more of like a cigarette smoke sometimes, and that's disgusting. But some mezcal can be very good.
Yeah. He's also assuming older race. Sorry, I'm just looking. Terramana. Yeah, that's what it's called. The Rock's new tequila. I've been seeing a ton of it on social media.
CJ says, Taylor, I think you got to accept the fact that you aren't driving home tonight. Stay there overnight and grab some more drinks. I poured myself a little more whiskey, not a ton, but a little more.
You know what the best, and you'll probably know the answer to this, Taylor, the best famous person alcoholic beverage, I've never had it, but I am assuming I would think it's the best, and I've heard really good things about it.
Proper 12.
No, I've heard it's fucking garbage.
Yeah, no.
I've heard so many bad things about Proper 12.
It's pure swill.
Yeah, and then a bunch of the Conor McGregor fans want to fight over it when people say that, because they're like, it's awesome, and it's like, well, he's awesome, but no. Think about what I'm saying.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah, baby. I've heard
I haven't tried it.
I haven't tried it either, but I've heard fantastic things about it, and it's Lagavulin. So how fucking can it be awesome? And it's Nick Offerman. So come on, dude.
Yeah. Blitz says, Jeremy, have you ever tried Jorge Masvidal's mezcal? I will bet $10 that Jeremy doesn't know who Jorge Masvidal is.
Nope.
Exactly.
Who is that?
Jorge Masvidal is a UFC fighter.
I actually used to follow UC pretty close, but I've never heard of him.
He got his ass beat last Saturday.
Oh, I haven't watched UFC probably in the last year or so, year or two.
I
used to watch a lot of it.
I fell off a long time ago.
Yeah,
I used to watch it. I used to watch it all the time in high school. Every time there was a fight on, I would watch it. And then I stopped for years. And then maybe a year and a half ago, I just started to get back into it. I don't follow it closely, but if there's a fight on, I'm going to watch it. Every time they do a fight night, I watch the whole thing, prelims, everything.
We used to get them and we'd share, we'd have a bunch of people over and we'd all split the pay-per-view and have parties and stuff. I used to be big into it, but we haven't done that in a long time.
So let me tell you this. How long ago was that?
2-3 years ago.
Dude, the level of skill in the last 2 years has skyrocketed. It is so much more entertaining now. And because of Corona, I think it's because of Corona. I'm not exactly sure what caused the change, but right now they're not, because they're doing this Fight Island in Abu Dhabi and they're using the standard 30-foot cages. But they have the UFC, I think it's called the Apex in Las Vegas. So they have their own facility where they can do fights now in Las Vegas. And they use a 25-foot cage. And a 5-foot difference in diameter doesn't sound big.
It's 5 foot smaller?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes a big difference.
It makes a massive difference. So the previous fights or fight card that they had when they were still using a 30-foot cage was just one of the most boring things I think I've ever watched. It was just long fight after long fight, just decision after decision after decision, and just slogs. I mean, I mainly watch for the action, and I don't mind watching a grappling match.
Patina.
Watching two guys, I don't mind watching a grappling match, but when
Patina.
it comes to 15-minute fight, 15-minute fight, 15-minute fight over and over and over and over, it just gets kind of boring and I just lose interest. But they switched to the 25-foot cage and it was like knockout, armbar, rear naked choke, knockout, 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 knockout. And I'm like, holy
Dude, knockouts are disturbing
shit.
to watch.
A few weeks ago, there were two fights. They were, I think, 2 or 3 fights apart. Walk-off knockouts, and they were the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen in my life. One was from Sean O'Malley.
They're hard to watch sometimes, dude. When they go all stiff and they like twitch and shit, Patina. It's really like difficult.
You're such a dick.
No, but it is like I've seen some knockouts that like made me cringe. I'm like, oh goddamn, Patina, and it's rough.
Yeah, so the one
they just got brain damage. You know what I'm saying? You're like, so that person just got brain damage, Patina.
So the one from Sean O'Malley, he faked an uppercut, and the dude dropped his guard to block it, and he went over the top, and the dude was stiff on the way down, like arms out.
Yeah, dude. And they're like, those are the ones that are hard to watch, dude. It's if that doesn't make you cringe a little, then you're like maybe a little bit of a psychopath, like because that person's having brain trauma right now. That's why their fucking body is like that. That's not Patina. That's not a normal situation.
But then the next one was from Cody Garbrandt, and he literally dropped down to like a crouched stance for a split second. I guess to make the other guy think he was going to shoot for a takedown or something at the buzzer. But what happened was he crouched all the way down and put all of his legs and everything into a right hand at the buzzer, and
just fucking clocked.
I'm pretty sure he knocked the dude into like next week. This was weeks ago. That dude's still asleep. Like,
brain damage occurred, bro. I'm telling you.
It's
hard to watch.
Easily one of the most brutal Patina knockouts I've ever seen.
You got to get in on it, son. You got to it's kind of like, have you ever seen Super Troopers?
Yeah.
When they're like, meow, meow, listen here.
Meow, listen here.
It's easier to fit a meow in than Patina because not a lot of words sound like Patina, right? So it's like, but yeah, I just got to Patina because people were mad I hadn't said Patina enough in this video. So Patina.
Well, now everybody is plastered, so
yeah. If you're playing the Patina drinking game, Patina, have fun getting your stomach pumped. Patina.
Nick Jepson says, "How long have you been growing your beard?" I'm guessing he's talking to Jeremy here, and I'm just going to spoil this for Jeremy. He shaved last week, clean shave.
Yeah, that's it. I clean shave once a week, and this shit is like.
Yep.
Can you say patina meow? It's tough to get both of those in. My beard is tough, man, because
CTE equals patina of the brain.
yeah, that's basically what it is. I it's hard to say. I haven't shaved probably in like clean shaved 12, 13 years probably.
Oh, you're making those gears in his head spin really hard right now.
I mean, dude, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've clean shaved.
Ryan Jack Allred said y'all are amazing, and yes, getting very drunk.
If you're doing the patina drinking game, I always recommend against it. People started making a joke of that because I say patina so much. They're like, fucking take a shot every time Jeremy says patina. I'm like, it's a public service announcement. I'm like, please don't. You'll get fucking alcohol poisoning because I say patina a lot.
My catchphrase isn't a cool word like patina. It's just, that's really cool. I apparently am not clever enough to come up with anything other than cool as a descriptor.
Well, dude, I say super. I'll be editing my videos and I'm like, why the fuck did I say super like 30 times? Because I'm like, it's super good, super this, super that. I'm like, what is with me and super? But to answer the question, I haven't shaved in a very long time, but I kept my beard fairly short for many years. And then I started growing it, but I regularly cut like just the other day, I cut about 1.5 inches off the bottom of it because the bottom gets scraggly and fucked up. So
Patinaed.
So like, I think it was just the day before yesterday, I cut almost like 1.5 inches or 2 inches off of it.
That beard patina.
But I haven't, it's hard to say because I've gone through several stages of growing my beard.
I can find a clean shaven Jeremy picture.
Yeah.
I can find it. I'll show you.
I think do I have any YouTube videos where I'm clean shaven?
I don't know, but Michael Gonzalez says beard is older than Taylor.
It probably is.
Correct.
It for sure is. I use Beard brand products pretty much exclusively. Somebody just asked. And I know a lot of people hate on Beard brand because it's expensive. I mean, it's not cheap stuff, but here's the thing. It's fucking awesome. If you've never smelled Old Money, then don't say anything about Beard brand until you get some Old Money. That scent is the best shit ever. And they use really high quality materials or high quality ingredients in their stuff. I just like it. It works good on my beard. It's worth the money to me.
I thought I was going to get, or no, I thought I was going to find a picture of you clean shaven, but there is not one actually. There's a short beard photo.
There is.
In which you look very different. Do you mind if I share this?
I don't give a fuck. What is it?
A photo of you from your wife's Facebook. I can.
I mean, it's out. Just take off her Facebook stuff. But I mean, if you can just share the picture.
Yeah. I got
Temple Smoke is really good too, man. All of the Gold Line stuff is really
Look, you know who you look like right there?
Who?
I don't know his name. I don't know the actor's name, but you look like the guy who plays the Arrow.
Oh, that was not too long after I got out of the police academy, and I used to keep my head shaved, and I had a short beard because I had recently had to shave completely like off. Obviously, when I was in the academy, I had to be clean shaved. But
I'll have to look harder for a picture of you without a beard.
Old Money. Old Money. You mean it smells like rich old lady? No, it doesn't smell like rich old lady. It smells like leather and like old libraries and wood and whiskey, and it smells fucking great. It's some good stuff. All the Gold Line stuff, Old Money, Temple Smoke, and what's the other one? Old Money, Temple Smoke, and Three Vices.
All right, so I found a picture of Jeremy without a beard.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's been a long time, man. I'm surprised.
Look, it's right there. Look at that.
That's not me. every time I've seen that, that reminds me of like a dick. It looks like the head of a dick is what that looks like.
This is what Jeremy looks like without a beard, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, this is.
I thought you maybe did. There are definitely pictures of me out there without a beard. It's been a long time though. So it's 4 Vices. You're right. It's not 3 Vices. It's 4.
I will be interested. I think I'm getting a bottle of Old Money. I think if they've not sent the package yet. I'm going to request it, but
Old Money's great, dude. It's
I
so
will be
good.
very interested to see how it compares to Musk and Hustle number 24, because Musk and Hustle number 24 is the best thing I think I've ever smelled on the face of this earth. It's so good. I'm actually, it's worn off, but I put it on every morning. I have for like a year.
You'll probably like Old Money. I'm betting it's kind of similar stuff.
I need Musk and Hustle to send you stuff. I'll set that up. I'll make sure he gets you some stuff because you're right up his alley.
Oh yeah, I told you I got to get you with that. I'll tell you about it offline. Actually,
Drunk Taylor is funny. I'm not even drunk. I'm not even tipsy. What are you talking about?
Oh, I was gonna go Pete next.
Pete, yeah. What are you drinking, Pete wise? Ardbeg.
I'm gonna go Ardbeg. Hold on, I gotta put these bottles up.
Wee Beastie.
I'm gonna go Wee Beastie just because, dude, I've drank a good bit of this bottle already because I love this shit. Can you hear me all right when I'm way back there?
Yeah, I can actually surprisingly hear you well, because if I get too far away from this, you can't hear anything.
Oh, this fucking thing. There we go. Oh, that's what the Wee Beastie looks like if you guys haven't seen it. It's the first and only Ardbeg bottle I've ever seen with actual color on it. They normally go like all black pretty much.
Yep.
Oh, I got to rinse this out first, actually. Oh, I already did rinse it out, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
Taylor's not drunk. He's just high on Isla and bluegrass.
He's got that. What did we call it? The Isla effect.
Yeah, I don't know what we called it, but yeah, seriously, I drink a little bit of Isla and I slip into my happy place, very just peaceful, and I get a little, I don't know, maybe I get a little more.
Son, that smells like smoked ham.
Ew. I don't want my whiskey to smell like
Dude,
ham.
that smells like if you opened up a thing of cold cut, like of ham, smoked ham cold cuts.
Ew. I don't want my whiskey to smell like ham.
You don't get a meaty vibe on a lot of Isla scotches, the smokiness. You don't get kind of a meaty, savory kind of thing with them.
I need like pulled pork. Like, yeah, that maybe, but not like deli cut ham.
But I mean, it smells like fucking ham. Ham smells like ham.
Not if it's smoked right, like pork, like pulled pork, not like deli cut ham.
Oh, god damn.
I'm not about that.
See, delicious whiskey ham. It's so here. Smell it.
Oh,
smell it.
I could probably smell it through the computer. Isla scotches are.
Hey, look, you can see the skull. Oh, it's upside down. Hold on. Oh, there we go.
What's the color on that like? Looks pretty close to this. Maybe a little lighter. Yeah, it's lighter.
Dude, fucking confirmed. Like, if you want to start with an Isla, going back to that guy's question about an hour ago, that is I gotta fucking, if I can't find another bottle around here to send you, I'm gonna send you a sample of it at least, because that shit it's sweet. It's got a lot of sweetness to it, which I know a lot of people say Islas are sweet. If you can get acclimated to the smoke, there's a sweetness behind the smoke, but a lot of times the smoke is so like smacking you in your fucking mouth that it's hard to get through to that sweetness if you're not acclimated to it. But the sweet comes through even if you're not super used to it. It's super good. See, I said super. See, I told you, fucking super.
All right, game plan switched. No more patina drinking game. Switch it to super.
Super. Super.
So like I was saying, like my mouth will go numb drinking an Isla a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of tingly numbness in like my nose and lip area.
He's
so weird.
My nose and lip area.
It's not like totally numb, but there's just a little tingly. It feels good. It's good. I'm not even tipsy either. Like I've been drinking this pretty slow.
Somebody
feel
just
good, but I
asked
mean
me,
it just
would I ever do a video about all my tattoos? Maybe.
He doesn't want you to see the Taylor Swift tattoo he has on his lower back.
No, it's on the shaft of my dick.
It
says Taylor, and when I get an erection, Swift.
Whoa.
Taylor. No, I might. A lot of my tattoos are like kind of personal. They're like stuff that's kind of about family members. Like my whole left arm is all family related. So a lot of them are kind of personal. So I've kind of been back and forth on whether I want to share all that online or not, but maybe. Not all my tattoos are personal, but most of the ones on my right arm are, because they're all like dedicated to a family member or something to do with something. What's it say? Twizzler patina tattoo. Somebody did say I need to have a shirt that says patina. I just got to figure out like how to do it. I thought about like maybe having a Statue of Liberty on there, and then like, you know, because I mean that's like the biggest example of patina ever, because the whole fucking thing's patinaed. Because isn't the Statue of Liberty like all copper?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that. Was it ever shiny copper? Like when they first put it up, was it copper?
I think so.
That was before there was photographs though, right? So there's like no pictures.
Since you're with Bunker now, maybe you should take a page out of Matt's book and shoot some bullet holes, and that's shirt patina, right?
Well, hold on.
Or like have the word patina, but it's like, you know, where's he going? Okay, bye. The shirt has to be made of only leather.
You said, look what I happen to have up here.
Hey, shoot some holes in your shirts and call it patina.
There you go.
Yeah, true patina shirt, full leather shirt for all the leather daddies. Knowing Jeremy and what kind of style he is and has, it'll probably have like tassels on it too.
Just on the nipples. Just on the
nice.
Just on the nipples.
Or you can do like a little brass trinket on the sleeve.
They're little nipple tassels that you can.
So it's like a brass attachment on the shirt, but it's got leather tassels.
Mm-hmm. Yep. See, this is what happens after hour 2. Actually,
yeah.
I think we got into this about hour and a half. We started getting into like the super crazy shit.
Oh boy.
When
Nicholas
you watch this
Ritter.
back, you'll see us kind of devolve into just
never gonna get monetized.
Well, that's
True.
why I pulled that gun out, because I'm like, well, let's just go.
Dude,
ahead.
I was thinking about this earlier today. We might have to go to Twitch eventually. I don't know. We'll see.
Why?
Just for monetization reasons.
I don't know, man. There's
actually with Dr. Disrespect getting banned, who knows what's going on with Twitch these days. Nicholas Ritter says, "What coffee have you been going with lately?" And by lately, I mean for the last like 14 months, basically since my daughter was born. I've been going to the coffee shop because and I don't know why, but they refuse to charge me. So I just go there and get some coffee and go about my day.
And Taylor poo-poos this, but I've been drinking a lot of Black Rifle coffee because I really like their AK-47 blend for like espresso and stuff.
And he only makes his coffee while listening to Radio Rock and flipping his Mall Ninja knife.
Listening to Nickelback. I also, though, my go-to that I get a lot, because I think it just makes a great espresso drink, whether it's a flat white or an Americana or a regular espresso or whatever, is Super Crema Lavazza. Just a good, like, all-purpose. You can get it on Amazon, but it's really good. It's like $20 for a 2-pound bag, so it's good. But
so what I used to drink was my favorite coffee by far. There are two. One is local. The roaster is the lead guitar, actually not the lead guitarist, but one of the guitarists from Between the Buried and Me is Paul Wagner. He has it used to be Parliament Coffee. Now it is, why am I blanking? Used to be Parliament.
Just
now
so you know,
not.
A lot of people are confirming, Taylor, you got to try Black Rifle coffee.
I'll try it, but I'm going to try it skeptically.
I'm just saying, a lot of people are in my court here, man. I'm telling you, I told you it was good stuff, and you were like,
but and I'm going to go full like coffee snob here. the vast majority of people also like crap coffee. So,
Well, I will agree. A lot of people just buy like drugstore or not drugstore, but grocery store Folgers and they call it a day. But Black Rifle coffee, I am not like that. I actually do kind of, I go a little bougie on my coffee, and Black Rifle's really good stuff. The one guy said Blackbeard's Delight. That for like a normal, like if you're doing like a Hario V60 or like some form of pour over, Chemex, whatever, excellent for just like a cup of coffee. If you're doing like an espresso type drink, whether that be espresso, latte, flat white, whatever, the AK-47 blend. It's good, man.
well, Night Flyer Roastworks is the coffee brand I'm trying to think of, and that's from Paul Wagner from Between the Buried and Me. Somebody asked what band, but Between the Buried and Me. So yeah, Night Flyer Roastworks. I love his coffee, but I think my favorite has to go to Brandywine Coffee Roasters out of Maryland. It's just so good. No, not Maryland. It's Delaware. Sorry, my bad. Delaware. It's so good. It is. If you send me anything, I'll send you a bag of Brandywine.
I'll have to try it. I'd love to try it, man. You know, I'm always up for good coffee.
It's the best, but the second best for me would probably, other than the Night Flyer, would probably have to go to Onyx. Onyx and Brandywine are two of the best roasters in the world.
Do you prefer a dark roast or a medium roast?
Light roast. Light roast. And that was my problem with Black Rifle, is they err heavily on dark. Even their light roasts, from my understanding, I've never tried it, but from my understanding, their light roast is like most people's like darker mediums.
I mean, they have everything from a light all the way up through like black. I mean, they have one called Beyond Black that's crazy dark roast.
But what I'm saying is their light is still like a medium for most roasters these days.
Yeah.
And that's
super light roasts can be a little funky sometimes though, man.
They can be. And that's why I tend to stick to light and medium, but it depends on the coffee. And I don't want to get into too much coffee nerdism here, but like,
it's harder to extract light roast coffee, so you have to extract them at a higher temperature. We're going super coffee nerd, but you got to extract at a much higher temperature, or you're under extract light roast coffees, and it gets bitter and kind of
almost like tea, like
it's weird, and I don't like it.
But the coffee shop that I was talking about that I go to, it's Groundwork Common. They just bought a roaster, and this is something we've been talking about for a long time. I'm going to order my own green coffee. Big order of green coffee. I'm going to roast it and try to do some cupping, figure out which roast profile I like the most. I'm going to learn how to roast, and I'm going to have my own coffee that I'm going to sell on carry commission. And there's going to be probably once a quarter, I'll do a new roast.
Have you ever done cupping?
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, man. I tried it not too long ago. I'd never done it before, and I did it with a few different roasts just to see. It's actually really interesting, the things you pick out when you're doing a cupping over just drinking a normal cup of coffee. It's an interesting experiment if you really dig coffee and you want to nerd out over it and dig into it.
So Justin EDC says light roast has more caffeine. That is sometimes true. So the reason they say that it has more caffeine is because the darker you roast your coffee, you tend to roast out or cook out some of the things. It's very much like, I make this comparison a lot, steak. So the more rare the steak, the more of those natural flavors and juices you have, the more you cook it, the less flavor you're going to have. And that's the same with coffee. You're going to get more char and burnt flavors the more you roast it. But it also comes down to the final product weight. So if you are weighing your coffee rather than using a scoop, you're going to have, it's going to balance out sort of, because your dark roast, it weighs less than your light roast.
You should always weigh your coffee. Let's just get that out of the way real quick. You should weigh your coffee.
So your dark roast is going to weigh less. So you need more of it to have the same amount as your light roast. So it does kind of balance out a little bit, but it's so negligible. It's not nearly as dramatic as some people might like to make it, I think. And a lot of people are like, I like my coffee dark because it's stronger, but no, it's not. It's just more burnt.
Yeah, I like a little bit of both, man. I like everything from light all the way through dark roast. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. It depends on how I'm drinking it. Like, I don't like a light roast coffee if I'm doing like an espresso type drink. I prefer like a medium roast in an espresso type drink. When I'm doing pour over, sometimes I'm in the mood for like some super dark, like that Blackbeard's Delight from Black Rifle. It's like a super dark, chocolatey kind of flavor. You get like this real chocolatey kind of vibe when you go with the darker roasts a lot of times.
Depends on how dark it is.
Well, yeah, sometimes you go past chocolate into like burnt ash.
but I typically don't like dark roast coffee. It usually to me tastes like ash, as long as like, so a lot of roasters, they listen for that first crack when they're roasting, and they dump as soon as they hit that first crack, and then they immediately cool the beans so they stop cooking. A lot of companies, especially like Starbucks, they wait for that second crack, and that second crack means like this is well done. And I just dark roast, I just can't do it. Where was it? I saw it. Someone asked.
The thing is, if you're into cigars, you're more than likely going to be into whiskey and coffee, because those two things are so good. Fucking
David
cigars
Jollis.
Go ahead.
Oh, David Jollis asked how much weight for a pot. So that's the thing. The way I do it, and I think most people who are into coffee do it, is a ratio. And you do a weight ratio of your coffee, like a specific weight to a specific amount of water, and that's your ratio. So you weigh the water and you weigh the coffee, and that's where you get your ratio. So that can scale. So you can do, if you're doing just brewing 1 cup, you just scale it up for however much you're brewing. And if you need twice as much water, you just double the weight of the coffee 4 times, same thing.
26 grams to 400 grams of water. That's actually about what I usually do. 26 to 400.
My ratio back when I used to brew at home, which I'd like to get back into, I've not done it in a long time, but my ratio was 1 to 16. Which is actually kind of low. A lot of people like really into coffee will do like 1 to 12, 1 to 13.
Yeah. I used to do 115, 116, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I tend to do 1 to 15, 1 to 16.
It depends on the coffee though, right? Like you got to play around with that ratio.
But if you're doing cold brew, it's more of like a 1 to 4.
Well, you also grind that shit up into like gravel when you're doing cold brew. It's like a fucking extremely like coarse grind. See, one guy just said James Hoffman is a great resource for coffee. He is, dude. I love that guy's channel. I've watched a ton of that guy's videos because there's something about his voice that's just like relaxing to me. He's like a British dude, and he's got this kind of, I don't know. I really enjoy watching his videos, and he's extremely knowledgeable on coffee.
So I tried to do some coffee content way back in the day, and I think what happened was I was really like ahead of the curve.
Well,
because this was like 4 or 5 years ago, and the coffee scene, especially like third wave coffee, as they were calling it back then, had not really caught up. It was very small and very niche at the time. But those videos that I did on my channel were pretty popular.
I've done a few coffee videos, and I plan on doing more just because it goes with the shit that I do, right? Like if you're into whiskey and cigars, you're probably into coffee also, because it's like the holy trinity, right? Like awesome stuff.
Wow. The ultimate V60 technique, 1.1 million views.
Dude, I use that when I use my V60, and it does. It's a very good technique for a Hario V60.
V60 is the best pour over. Fight
me. I'll fight you. Well, I mean, I'm not going to really fight you because you're my boy and all that, but
Chemex is good. V60 is better.
It's a different cup completely. Chemex is a much cleaner cup. It's much brighter. It takes a lot of the acidity out because of the way the filters are designed. It's a very different cup than a V60.
Have you ever used a Kalita Wave?
I've never used a Kalita. I've only used Hario and Chemex.
So the thing about the Kalita is, and a lot of the reason that a lot of coffee shops will use a Kalita, like most like really nice coffee shops will use a Chemex or a V60, but a lot of like, I'll say like meddling maybe coffee shops that haven't really made the full transition. The reason they'll use a Kalita Wave is that it is extremely consistent. If you're not consistent yourself, your V60 and your Chemex will taste different all the time. But a Kalita Wave is a flat bottom
with like 3 holes that restricts the flow, right?
Right. Instead of it being a funnel, which all the water just goes down to that funnel, so it's more dependent on how fast you pour. Kalita Wave is much more balanced and will kind of even things out for you.
Which is why I prefer the Hario and the Chemex, because you can really play around with your grind and your water temperature and your pour rate and your ratios, and you can tweak things. If you got a coffee maker that's kind of equalizing things for you, it's harder to kind of play with stuff and get the sweet spot. But if you don't like fucking around with it and you just want a good cup, it's probably a great cup.
So Justin EDC asks, V60, what's the brand? Hario. It's Hario.
Yeah, Hario V60.
They make really good grinders and pour overs.
Yep.
My favorite coffee maker to date is still the AeroPress, though.
Yeah, dude,
I love it.
I have an AeroPress, and I used to drink AeroPress for quite a while, but I tell you what, man, these days I almost always go with my espresso or with the Chemex or the Hario. I don't really fuck with the AeroPress anymore. I don't know.
I love the AeroPress.
It's good for camping.
It's my favorite way to do an iced coffee.
I don't think I've ever done iced coffee.
And Joe asked, best camping coffee solution, and go
AeroPress.
Yep. You can use a French press if you've got multiple people with you, and it's not just you or you and one other person drinking. An AeroPress can get very tedious because it does one cup at a time. I would say go French press if it's like two or more people. Well, more than two people, I'd say go French press. If it's just two people, 2 AeroPresses is not that bad. But yeah, my favorite is usually bring cold brew, like brew cold brew before you go. That's one of my favorite ways to do it, because then you don't have to worry about it. Or AeroPress.
Or you could always just go cowboy coffee. Oh. I've had guys on my channel be like, man, you just put some fucking coffee and some water and you mix it up and you strain that shit out with your mustache as you're drinking it. Be a man. And I'm like, okay, dude, fucking go for it, bro.
Was that Sam Elliott who left that comment?
I mean, hey, if that's your jam, go for it. I actually do enjoy a good French press every now and then. I haven't had French press in a while, but it makes a good cup.
My favorite French press recipe comes from Stumptown. So Stumptown used to be like...
That's a coffee brand, isn't it? I think I've seen their coffee.
They used to be super third wave, like ahead of the curve, really good. And then they got bought out by a bigger company, and they went the way of almost like a Wicked Weed or something. Like you don't know who Wicked Weed is. They went more commercial, like very general, like wide appeal, and kind of evened everything out, and they're no longer nearly as good as they used to be. But Jason says, how do you AeroPress, regular or inverted? Inverted always, every time, forever.
Yeah, I always did inverted too when I did mine.
Yep. I did some videos on the AeroPress, and I think it's Brian Bakey is his name. He has one of the best AeroPress recipes in my opinion, which he called the Stubby. And then I built on the Stubby and just replaced water with ice and did the iced Stubby. You used to be able to search that on YouTube, but I took that video down, so you can no longer do that. Eventually, I may re-release that video, but we'll see.
You know, and somebody had mentioned it. Have you ever had Cuban coffee? Cuban coffee is in like a mocha pot. Well, I mean, I think there's different ways to make Cuban coffee, but the way I've always had it is, you ever had mocha pot coffee?
Mm-hmm.
You do mocha pot coffee, and when the first little of coffee comes through, you actually use that first little spit of coffee that's coming up, and you put it in it's like 3 tablespoons of sugar. And you put like just a little dribble of the first spit of the mocha pot coffee in the sugar, and you whip it, and it turns into this stuff. It looks like peanut butter. It turns into this like thick stuff. And then you use the mocha pot and you put like a scoop of that sugar paste into the coffee. Woohoo, dude, it's fucking delicious. It is delicious.
Jason Groff says, always Chemex, but not always hot brew. Japanese iced coffee is interesting and great in the summer. I want to show you this CNET iced coffee. Boom, your boy.
What the hell is Japanese iced coffee?
You brew into the ice. So you can do cold brew, but
I do cold brew like that other method up top there, just like immersion.
Okay, CNET, get out of here. You replace the water with ice.
I think I've seen that on Hario instructions somewhere. I think because that's a Hario thing right there, isn't that? Isn't that Hario? That's a V60.
Look. Look, it's your boy. I wrote this a long time ago.
Oh, hey, Taylor Martin, what's up?
Yeah, I wrote about how to do iced coffee,
What-
Japanese iced coffee.
The Japanese folks, man, they got a lot of stuff down.
Yeah, they so that one is like you still put water in the pot, but I think it's like 2/3 is ice and 1/3 is water.
How's that? Oh, see that stuff has a name right there, Jose 33.
Oh,
I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not even gonna try.
Espumita.
Espumita, maybe. Yeah, it's a thing, man. It's sweet, but you won't go to sleep afterwards because between the sugar content and the caffeine, because you basically just made an espresso with a fuck ton of sugar in it. But it puts like a crema on top, almost like you did espresso, because when you put that sugary paste stuff in there, it puts this like crema.
So do you continue brewing the rest of the mocha pot and then put that
you
on
only
top?
you only use the first little spit of it to put in the sugar, and then you whip the sugar in that to make this peanut butter whipped kind of stuff while you're letting the rest of the mocha pot finish. And then you put a little dabble of that stuff in the bottom of a cup and then pour your coffee in there, and
All right.
it's good.
Question for you. Have you had an affogato? Not an avocado.
Oh, I was about to say I eat avocado all the time.
No, an affogato. AFFAGATTO or affogato. I don't know. Affogato. It's ice cream, and you do an AeroPress over the ice cream.
James Hoffman, that guy we were just talking about, he just did a video on how to make those. Yeah,
Affogatos are so good, but I got another one for you.
It looks fucking delicious.
I don't know that this one has a name. Maybe it did a reason originally. I learned this one from Seattle Coffee Company. So they've also got a YouTube channel.
They also have a great channel.
This one I learned
Gail.
from them. Yeah. She was like everybody's favorite grandma or something. But,
Gail.
This one was years ago that they did this. It was God, I wish I knew what they called it. But basically, you do an AeroPress into Sprite and lemon or lime.
Get the fuck out of here. You lost me.
Dude.
Is it good?
So you take a lime, you take a lime slice, you squeeze it into there, throw it into the Sprite, and you AeroPress into the Sprite and ice it.
I don't know about that, dude. I don't think I want fucking lemon in my coffee or lime.
Not lemon, lime.
Well, I mean, same shit. I mean, I don't.
So the thing is, like, I've tried coffee and Coca-Cola.
Gail. She's great, dude.
So coffee and Coca-Cola is something that was popular a while. It wasn't popular. It was a thing that people were trying, and it's not that great. Like, it's okay. But when you start mixing coffee and carbonation, you start changing the molecular structure of the coffee.
Well, yeah, that's why I like nitro.
Yeah, nitro's good.
Nitro's delicious.
You mix coffee with nitrogen, and you get a good result. You mix coffee with carbon or
carbonation.
Carbonation.
I guess it's
it's carbon dioxide.
Yeah,
and you mix those, and you get this sour. It's kind of unpleasant, if I'm going to be totally honest. It's not great, but for some reason with Sprite, it's great.
Weird.
Try it.
I'll try. I mean, I'll try anything once, but that does not sound like, if you say coffee on ice cream, that sounds good. If you say like coffee and like a sugar paste, that sounds good. As soon as you say Sprite, I'm like,
coffee, do an AeroPress into a can. I think it's 8 ounces. So it's not a full can of Sprite, but 8 ounces of Sprite, a lime slice squeezed, and then AeroPress into it. The last time I tried it, it was phenomenal.
I'll try it. I mean, I'll try anything once, man.
Yeah, it was good. It's good.
It sounds like a weird thing, but hey, I've tried stranger. I've had a pickleback, which sounds also like a porn maneuver, but it's actually like where you chase a shot of Jameson with some pickle juice.
Yum. That sounds like the most Irish thing ever.
It's a thing they do in Irish pubs, and it's actually pretty fucking good.
Well, okay, so there's a thing they do here where they put, so you're aware of like a cherry lemon sundrop?
Cherry lemon sundrop? What's
You're not familiar with that?
No, what is it, a drink?
Yeah, so sundrop. You're familiar with sundrop?
Nope.
Really?
dude, I'm not a mixed drink guy, so I don't know a lot of mixed drinks.
What?
Like
No,
my
Sundrop is a soda.
Oh, I don't know. I've always Starkit, like Sunkist.
Okay, it's Sundrop is like a Sprite, but it's like Sprite and Mountain Dew almost.
Oh, I don't think they have that here.
Okay, well, anyway, Sundrop is kind of lemon lime soda.
Okay.
Right? So it's if you go to some places that have it as a fountain drink, you can get cherry lemon Sundrop, which is exactly what it sounds like, lemon and cherry. But then there are some places that do pickle in it.
Yeah, it's strange the stuff that pickle. Like, see, that guy just said picklebacks are strangely amazing. They really are. Like the first time somebody told me, I was like, "What the fuck?" But I was like, "I'll try anything." Once I tried it, I was like, "That's strangely good." I don't know why it is, but yeah, I mean, pickle and things is pickle juice has a weird thing. It goes with things you wouldn't think that it should. Pickleback is a way to shoot Jameson. Period. Pickleback is the way. Yeah, I mean, I am not a big shoot whiskey kind of guy anymore because I'm just past the point. Usually if you're shooting whiskey in general, you're doing it to get to a purpose, not for the flavor. And I am much more of a flavor guy in the whiskey world these days. That's not to say I haven't had my times where I was trying to get to a point, but those were the pickleback days.
Well, there's also this, the Witch Doctor.
What the fuck is that?
I just learned about this. I was trying to find the name for that pickle drink, but this is Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Sierra Mist, Sundrop, cherry flavor, cheerwine, lemon, and pickles.
Weird.
And this is from Concord. This is where I am right now, Concord.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, they do Sundrop, lemon, cherry, and pickles is the one I heard of.
That guy says, I thought Pickleback was a band you guys don't like.
It is.
It does sound like Nickelback.
I subscribed to James Hoffman because I didn't know who he was.
Dude, I'm telling you, he was a barista champion. He owns a coffee roaster. Like the dude is deep into the nerd of coffee. Like if you're a coffee nerd, he's got some very good information on that channel.
Speaking of his channel, the channel banner is the World Atlas of Coffee. If you were interested in coffee at all, that is a phenomenal book.
And see, I'm telling you, the guy he's on it, dude. He's got some very interesting stuff. And that Hario V60 technique, I watched that video and tried it, and I think it did help my pour over in my Hario.
Jason says that was a suicide up to the pickles. Exactly. That's what makes it different. It's the suicide plus a pickle.
See, James Hoffman is the dude.
If you're going to waste whiskey shooting it, pickleback is the way.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have the same approach of things these days. If you're shooting whiskey, you're kind of wasting it, right? Like that's kind of my approach these days. But to agree with that gentleman, if you're going to shoot it, that's the way to do it.
Well, this would explain why that's his channel banner. The World Atlas of Coffee was written by James Hoffman.
Oh, well, see, you know the book then. You'll love his channel, dude.
I've had the book for years. I knew the name sounded familiar, but that's why I know the name.
You'll love his channel then, man. I'm telling you, he's a very relaxing guy to watch too. He's got a very relaxing cadence to his voice and
he's like the opposite of Jeremy Sayers.
Yes, he's also very articulate. He's well spoken. He's all the things that I am.
He looks pretty clean cut.
He's the yin to my yang.
Nice.
Yes, he is.
I'm so glad you didn't say ying. So many people, and it drives me crazy.
It's yin and yang.
Yang. It's yin and yang.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
There's my speech.
There it is. There you miss it.
Yeah, it's not yin and yang.
Right. That drives me so crazy. Anyway.
Yin and yang. Dude, this fucking, I tell you what. You know what is weird though? This stuff goes cloudy really quick.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. This is very cloudy. See that?
Mm-hmm. It oxidizes very fast. Gets cloudy.
Can't focus. There we go.
Say what you will. See, Avi thinks that Avi, is that how you say that? Avi Locke? Avi? I think Avi is correct. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They both have great. See, he thinks I have a great talking voice, Taylor. So go fuck yourself.
Well, it's okay. It's okay because for years I got nothing but comments about how I sounded like Kermit the Frog. So
I wouldn't have thought that. Now that you say it, every time I listen, I'm going to hear fucking Kermit. And I'm going to bust out this. I know we're going to probably wrap this up before too long because it's getting late, but I am going to go ahead and smoke this bitch because I'm not going to go to bed before midnight, even if the podcast is over, so I might as well smoke it. This is a Lost and Found cigar that was in this month's Luxury Cigar Club box. And if you don't know what Lost and Found cigars are, it's a Robert Caldwell, who is a cigar maker, blender. He has his own brand or line of cigars, Long Live the King and all these things. This is a little project he does where he goes, if I'm not mistaken, and hopefully I'm not botching this, he goes and finds cigars that have been forgotten in like the cellars of these different tobacco factories and warehouses and whatnot, and puts them in a Lost and Found series. And this is in the Lost and Found series. Malditos Bastardos. Is that how you say that? I'm fucking that up probably. But Vika.
Kermit the Frog here.
Hello, Kermit the Frog here.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's always been a thing.
Does anybody else think a V-cut looks a little like a moose knuckle or a camel toe?
Well, I wouldn't have. Probably still don't.
What if it just peeks down a little bit right there?
It kind of just looks like a brown Pac-Man.
Well, that could be for the non-dirty minded.
So how did you do that V-cut? I'm interested. And how does that not like...
It's actually an interesting kind of cutter. So it's got it's hard to show on camera, but it's actually got a V-shaped blade, right?
Yeah, I see. It's like one of those choppers in your kitchen.
Right. And see, it actually comes, it's got a divot here that you put the cigar in, and then it slices down through and takes a takes a perfect little V. This is a Calibri deep V cutter, which is my favorite V cutter. I really like V cutters. I use them quite a bit.
So what would be the benefit of going with a V cutter over a straight?
My thing about the V cutter is sometimes you'll have a knot in the end of a cigar where they roll it and they cap it off. Sometimes there will be a little bit of a plug or a knot. If you're going to have a plug or a knot in a cigar, a lot of times it's right here in the very tip of it. When you take that V, it cuts a big groove out. So sometimes if you have a knot toward the end, it will clear that and cut through it, which will help with the draw. It also is a little bit neater, so you don't get as much tobacco in your mouth because you're leaving a lot of the cap on the cigar. So it's a little bit neater. It tends to be a neater smoke.
I had a lot of tobacco because I used a pocket knife to cut my cigar.
That will do it. I've seen some old timers that can fucking take a pocket knife and V-cut with a pocket knife like that quick, dude. It's like, and they pop a plug out and you're like, holy shit. These are like, 70-year-old dudes have been smoking cigars for 50 years. But a lot of people will say they like V-cuts because I don't notice this, but they say it's a stronger smoke.
Johnny B says, I think Taylor needs to watch Jeremy's channel more often. I would, but I have good taste.
Oh, you cocksucker. You did not just say that. But some people will say that it makes a stronger smoke because it funnels the smoke a little bit as it's coming into your mouth. It's directing it and directing more of the smoke through a narrower part of the tobacco. So there's some back and forth on what people think about that. I just liked a V-cut for the reasons I said. But for that, a good straight cutter for the most part works just as well.
Benchmade has a cutter. Isn't it like $300 or $350?
It's at least $350. Here's my only problem with the Benchmade cutter. And it's the same problem I have with the Red Horse Knife Works cutter. Because they make a cutter that I really like.
Is it Mall Ninja?
I like both of them. I can't say I like both of them. I've never used the Benchmade one. I like both of them. Okay. The Red Horse Knife Works, I talked about it. I actually put it on one of my gift guides at one point because I think it really is a cool cutter for people that are into cigars as like pocket jewelry, right? But anytime you have a single blade cutter where you've got one blade and cutting through, it's not going to be as good as something that has two blades that like scissor through, right? Like a guillotine type effect. I mean, obviously for obvious reasons, right? If you have one blade that at the end, we're at the very end of the cut, it's never going to be as clean as if you have two blades coming through and shearing it off. So I do tend to prefer double blade cutters, which the Benchmade and the Red Horse are both single blades.
There's also Blood Type Pepsi says, with a pocket knife, I found scoring a star in the end works better.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's all you have to literally do is just score the end of a cigar. There's actually cutters out there that literally have like 4 or 5 little punches, and they just like punch a bunch of little tiny holes.
I like the idea of a punch.
I use a punch
Or
sometimes.
I guess
This has got a punch in the end of it.
Yeah. I like the idea of that. It seems clean.
It is clean, and it just literally takes a little plug right out of the end of it. A lot of people like a punch. There's a lot of different ways to cut cigars. A lot of the guys in the rolling world, the guys that are actually in Nicaragua and these places that are actually the real cigar guys, they'll just pinch the cap off with their thumb because there's a cap on the end of the cigar. That they close it off. They'll just take it and pinch it off with their thumb and smoke it or bite the tip off.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So, I mean, dude.
I've only had like a handful of cigars in my life. I've always just taken a knife very gently around it and slowly cut it. Just kind of hold the cigar against my thumb and against the blade and just kind of score it slowly and then take a little bit off. And it worked fine. It worked fine. But
it'll work. Look, dude, if you can literally just take your teeth and just bite a little piece off of the cap and as long as you can get air through it, it's going to smoke.
Right.
You know? What are you saying?
Who?
Why do I feel like I've seen all this before, Jeremy? I don't know what he means.
I don't either.
Probably because I've talked about all this stuff on a video.
He's probably calling me out for not watching your stuff.
Well, because I do cigar videos, so I have talked about all this stuff. But that being said, I repeat it a lot in cigar videos because people that haven't seen a video before, you know.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched a cigar video of yours because I have not really been into cigars because I enjoyed the last one I smoked. I enjoyed it a lot actually, but the one prior to that, which was actually like a year before, it kicked my ass. I don't know what it was. I do not know what cigar it was, but it kicked my ass. I smoked the whole thing and I should not have, but the one I smoked a couple weeks ago was great.
If you'd probably need to go with a lighter cigar, but then again, some lighter cigars have a lot of nicotine. Ligero is a type of tobacco that normally has a pretty punchy tobacco or nicotine content. So you probably want a cigar that has a low Ligero. You don't want to get there's one called a double or triple Ligero. You definitely do not want to smoke one of those if you're not used to cigars.
Well, I don't even know where I would go to buy a cigar, like a good cigar right now. So
a lot of cigar shops are open. Even the one I have here locally, he's open because
I don't know of any. I don't know of any around. There used to be
one. Any
one.
cigar shops around?
Not that I know of. I've never specifically sought one out, so maybe I just don't know.
Really?
But there used to be a place, not really close to me, but sort of close, called 201 Central. So Harris Teeter, you probably don't have a Harris Teeter down there.
That's a grocery store, though, right?
Yeah. So they used to have a store called 201 Central, and I think there's still one in like Greensboro, but there are only two. And there was one in Huntersville and one in Greensboro. The one in Huntersville was nothing but beer and wine. So you walk in, like I told you, we have to go to an ABC store to get whiskey and liquor here, but they had a store that was the size of a grocery store, but it was nothing but beer, wine, and cheese.
Oh, wow.
So huge.
It's kind of like a Total Wine, but
yeah.
With cheese.
with cheese and exotic chocolates.
Well, because that goes with a lot of different.
Yeah. So they had like 800 or 900 beers in that store. Which
Do you
was
have
amazing.
a Total Wine?
Yeah.
They have a
okay cigar selection.
I mean, you can get some decent cigars. I wouldn't call it a good cigar selection because their humidors are usually pretty small. At least the one here is, but you can at least get some of your standards. You know what I mean?
Well, they had a huge humidor in 201 Central. I remember that. Just giant room of cigars, which was
usually it's like a big walk-in humidor.
Yeah. But I never went. So
the humidor at the place I was talking about earlier is literally I don't know, man. Shit. I bet you it's at least 800 square feet.
Now, there is a place that opens like a week before all of the shutdowns. I think they're still closed now. Maybe, I don't know. In downtown Concord, like a mile from my house, which is a cigar and whiskey lounge.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if they have cigars.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Iggy, I can't see that far. Iggle? I can't read it.
Oop, that one. Luxury Cigar Club.
Yeah, I mean, that's a club. That's not a place. But he makes a good point that, and I get a lot of my cigars online. I don't buy them locally as often as I order them. I do buy locally from local guys just to support local business, but more often than not, I buy stuff online. Luxury Cigar Club's a cigar club. It's a membership thing, but they also have a store. Pravada Cigar Club. They just opened a store, and he has an awesome selection of cigars in his store.
Okay, so there's a tobacco shop near the Walmart in Kannapolis that I'm around there pretty often. So that's where I would go. Is probably that.
Yeah. One guy had mentioned, and I don't see his comment anymore. It's probably rolled up, but it wouldn't be, you're going to spend, I don't know how much you want to spend on one, but I do recommend this a lot for people. Davidoff. They're expensive cigars. Davidoffs, you're probably not going to get a Davidoff for cheaper than 15 to 18 bucks a cigar. I mean, they're expensive cigars, but they tend to be milder, smoother, easier smoking cigars. They're very, they're not going to punch you in the throat.
I want another one of the ones I had a few weeks ago.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
Romeo y Julieta.
Yeah, those are mild. Romeo y Julietas, but they have some harder, stronger, darker kind of cigars. But they make a ton of cigars.
It was good enough that the guy let try it. Was like, what was that? I need that. So yeah. It was good. I liked it.
Both of them have said, and you can't join Pravada right now because Brian was just talking to me the other day. They actually just closed their club to private. So they've hit their threshold, and now you got to go wait list to be a member of Pravada going forward.
Well, you can't extend a little camaraderie my way. Come on, guy.
Well, no, I mean, I could definitely get him to send you a bundle, but for sure. But it's not a bad option for a guy like you that doesn't smoke a ton, because like, for instance, Pravada, it's $25 a month and you get 3 cigars, right? So every month you'd get
good value.
And they come in, you wouldn't even need a humidor because they come in a Bavita pouch that's like a hermetically sealed pouch that, keeps the humidity, and they have a little humidity packet in there to keep the humidity right. So you could literally leave them in that pouch for 6 months and they would be fine. And it's just 3 a month. So, I mean, oh shit, you don't smoke a ton of cigars, but you could go through 3 in a month.
Yeah.
So that's not
I don't know if I could go through 3 in a month. I'm not.
Really?
Yeah. I don't drink that often. Oh, I mean, with the podcast, I'm like, but I couldn't smoke in here, for example. Like, it's not ventilated at all.
Dude, I smoke 3 cigars a day.
I know you do.
You say about 3 in a month. I'm like, fuck, that's a day. I smoke 3 cigars a day.
Do you know how long it takes me to drink a bottle of whiskey? Months.
Really? Well, it depends, man. I mean, I
drink more beer.
Quite a few bottles up here, so it takes me a long time to go through a bottle because I don't drink the same bottle over and over. If I drank the same bottle every single night, it'd probably take me a couple weeks.
A couple days.
No, I mean, I usually drink like a couple fingers.
How many times do I call you a week? And how many times out of that are you taking a cigar and whiskey break?
That's not always true. A lot of times it's cigar and coffee break because you call me earlier in the day. I don't drink whiskey usually pre 5 o'clock. Pre 5 o'clock, I'm always drinking coffee.
CJ asks, hey, question, when the podcast is up, will you guys possibly have guests on some episodes? Absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely want to get, I think, Chadwick from Big Idea on. We're also going to get Michael from Das auf Mer.
Yep.
Probably Michael from Hitch and Timber at some point. I mean,
yep.
There's a lot of people we'd love to have on the podcast. And then you've got the Bourbon Junkies.
The Bourbon Junkies are coming on for sure. They already said they would. I don't know if Peter would do it. He's so damn busy all the time, but it would be really cool to have Peter on. I bet you Raven the Pirate would do it. He'd be a cool one to have on.
The trouble is that we shoot these. We do these at 8 p.m. and he is in Germany, so he is 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
So that'd be 4 a.m. for him.
Yeah,
so we'd have to, if we did it, we'd have to like pre-record or not do it live or something like that. But yeah,
he's a cool guy though. I think he
Sam.
would Sam. He's a cool guy. He would probably do it. It would be cool to have Peter on, but like I said, Peter's a good guy, but man, and I don't think he would. I think he would do it. I don't think he would mind doing it. It's just he's so damn busy, man. Like that guy.
Yeah.
He's slammed, dude. That guy stays busy.
Yep. Which I stay busy as hell.
And he's way busier.
I can't even imagine how busy he is.
Exactly.
Like, I used to do like 4 or 5 videos a week, and I thought I was busy. And now I do 1 video a week if I'm lucky. Like I try to get 2 out, but lately it's been 1 video a week, mainly because of the heat in this office. And I find myself more busy now than when I was making 4 or 5 videos a week. And I think a lot of that has to do with being kind of still a new dad. But
well, and that's the thing is Peter's a dad too. He's got young kids and a business, and he puts out videos on a regular.
Multiple businesses.
Yeah. So I mean, he's humping it, man. But
dude, one guy I can't understand is Matt Carricker. Like,
oh yeah, dude, that guy's got so much shit. He's got a vet business. He's got fucking Demolition Ranch. He's got Off the Ranch. He's got bunker branding. He's renovating a mansion, building 3 trucks. I mean, that guy's got like,
he just bought an abandoned yacht.
Bought an abandoned yacht. Like that fucking guy is like all over the place. But Michael, Bluth confirmed that he would like to do it, so he'll be on for sure at some point. Chad confirmed.
David Hill says, need to check out JR Cigars in Burlington. I thought.
Oh, yeah. JR Cigars is where I buy like a ton of my cigars online. It's one of the biggest online cigar retailers. That's near you?
It's relatively close. Burlington's a little, like an hour-ish away. And I've driven by it a million times. I didn't know that was the same JRs. I was about to ask about it, and I'm like, that's a stupid question. It's not the same JRs. Apparently it is.
I guess they have like a store you can go in. I don't know. I've only ever purchased online from them, but they are a huge online retailer.
I mean, it would make sense that there's a lot of cigar options around here because I grew up on a tobacco farm.
Well, yeah.
And I grew up in King, North Carolina, which is where RJR is. And RJR was one of the biggest tobacco manufacturers in the world like 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, JR Cigar is like, they're probably arguably the biggest.
So
online.
Casa de Montecristo is in Mooresville.
Justin said they do have a physical store. So yeah, dude, talk about cigar selection. They have every cigar known to man in that place. Like,
yeah, there's a cigar outlet.
Yeah. I mean,
in Selma, North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, JR Cigars, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Everything. So that's what I've driven by. It's huge. Huh. Didn't know that. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. And then what is this Casa de Montecristo? Because that was what was on that cigar that I smoked like 2 years ago that kicked my ass.
A Montecristo?
Yeah.
Montecristo shouldn't have kicked your ass. It's very much like a Romeo y Julieta. They're usually pretty mild cigars. It shouldn't have if it kicked your ass, it's because you smoked it like on an empty stomach or something weird. It fucked you up.
That was a heavy drinking day too. We were at the beach, so maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Holding at 147. We've dropped off for sure, but we still got 147 people in here.
So this is a JR cigar in Mooresville, but it says Casa de Montecristo. That's weird. That place looks bomb. Look at this. I'm going to screen share again.
Dude, JR cigars fucking got to be huge. I don't know about Casa de Montecristo, but
this is a JR cigar.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
look at this lounge.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, dude, they have every cigar known to man. Like I said, that's where I buy my, most of my online, although I am going to start shopping at Pravada more now because Brian's my boy and his store's stocked with a bunch of cigars that I really enjoy. But
this place looks sweet.
That place does look sweet. I mean, it makes sense that they've got that. I mean, they're probably one of the biggest. God knows what their tobacco sales are every year. They make a bunch.
Just by what I was looking at, it looks like they're from North Carolina. JR.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I said, Just look at their online selection of.
Oh
the
no,
amount-
headquarters is in Hanover, New Jersey.
Oh,
But yeah, they've got a lot of stores in North Carolina apparently.
they
good
got
to know.
They got about everything you could possibly want.
Hey, can I show you?
Photoshop.
Can I show you something kind of cool? I haven't even told you about this.
What's up?
It's unreleased Vox knife.
Oh, dude, I love his knives.
I know, it's just so perfect.
The only thing about his knives that bum me out,
small blades.
he tends to make small blades. Now, I will say he makes up for it in ergonomics, but ooh, my carta.
So there's a natural and an OD. Now, the thing about this natural, I was asked which one I wanted once they finally come out. I said micarta, but if you take a look in there, I don't know if you can see it.
Is that linerless?
There are no liners. The action on it is so good. Look at this. Look.
Here's the thing. I don't love
Look at that.
linerless micarta knives.
Look at that action.
The action's good, but sometimes
I think I'm going to swap for the titanium. It's significantly heavier, and the action on this one isn't as good. But these are prototypes. But
here's my problem.
It doesn't bend. Maybe a little bit. If I squeeze really hard, maybe a little bit of deflection. But the thing about micarta is that if it's not done right, it can break down. And if the micarta on this were to break down, your whole knife is shot.
Right.
Because this is one of those knives that they're not going to make scales for. This isn't something like a PM2. But
David Robertson says, drink every time Jeremy looks lost. That's going to be all the time, dude.
Everybody is plastered already.
Especially if I've been drinking for a while, I start to get that kind of look every now and then.
So somebody earlier, to take you off the micarta track, because we all know where you were going with that. Yeah.
Goddamn, wrong pipe. It's the same reason.
Somebody asked how the copper patina has been progressing on the PM2. I've only carried this probably about 3 or 4 days. Look at that patina around the clip. You've carried yours a whole lot more than mine.
You know what's funny about this, and I don't know if you can tell in this shot, I'm trying to get it, is I have a very interesting gradient of patina up here by where I guess my pocket rubs it. It stayed pretty shiny, but this fucking thing.
It's it's that butt sweat.
It's the butt sweat. But so up here it's still pretty shiny, but it's getting very dark. I don't know if you can tell. You can see the line. Can you see that line right there?
Yeah. Yeah, mine's not like that. So, having owned a Flytanium copper PM2 and this one patina is better. I don't know what it is about the finishing on it. They both look the exact same when they came, but this one has patinaed better. But look at that around the clip. Does yours look like that?
Yeah, it's getting there. I don't know if I can get in close.
This
camera doesn't have extremely.
I've carried this like 4 times.
I'm trying to get that same angle, but this lens is not meant to like focus really close.
Yeah, I'm like 3 inches from my camera lens.
Yeah, this doesn't have that same. You know what I've also got? I've got some bluing happening on the blade.
Well, I haven't carried it and used it a whole lot. I took it with me to a steak night thinking I would cut my steaks with it, but I didn't.
I do love this knife though. I've had it in my pocket almost.
So eventually it'll look like this. This is one that's too thin. It'll have that bluish hue to it.
Yeah. See, I'm starting to get some of that. Like almost like the kind of weird blue you get like on an oil slick.
Yep.
Like in water. It gets little bits of that. I don't know if it's that because it's that CPM Rex.
Yeah.
What is it called? Rex 45 CPM or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that knife, man.
I kind of want to put this blade on my titanium one or my Carta one just because
that knife has been in my pocket
Coppers.
since Zach sent it to me. Hasn't come out.
Avi, I'm going to call you Locke. Is my Bashy bug out nearby? Yes.
Dude, the bug outs that's still one of my favorites, bro.
Bashy bug out right here. Let me get
Still one of my favorites.
You got to get a titanium one, man. I know you like your brass, but
I do like brass.
Titanium's the way to go. Look at look at this. Just,
dude, that's the thing about the bug out, dude. Is the action is so good on a bug out.
What I like about the axis lock is that it pulls shut when you let go.
It goes funk, like sucks it in.
Yeah,
I love a bug out, man. I still say that's one of the best knives going, dude.
Shoeman13 says, remind me what scales you have on your bug out, Jeremy. He has the brass Flytanium bug out scales.
I don't have my bug out up here. But yes, it's the brass Flytanium, and they look really good too. Brass gets a really interesting, the thing I like about brass over copper to a certain extent is it doesn't quite get as dark. Sometimes copper will get like super dark, which isn't a bad thing, but the brass on patina gets very...
It turns orangey. Like
this Zippo that I've had for like years. It just gets dull and kind of... I don't know. I like it. I like the way brass patinas.
So this isn't brass. This is bronze.
Bronze does some cool stuff too. It's like my
bronze. Bronze gets this cloudy bluish hue once it starts to patina. It's really hard to capture with cameras. Like it does not do what brass does. So brass, I don't think I've got anything aged with brass here. Maybe
there's some bronze for you. A little bronze-ish.
So this is a patinaed Kaweco Lilliput.
Ah, yes.
And it's still...
Oh, hold on a second.
I hate it.
Wait a minute.
I hate it. I can't write with it.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm left-handed and it
Didn't
just
you
doesn't
call me
work.
a founty?
Yeah, you're a founty.
Aren't you the one that called me a founty?
Yeah, you're a founty.
I like a fountain pen, man.
You write with your pinky out.
I don't write with my pinky out.
But yeah, another knife that is really heavily underrated is this one. This is like the polar opposite of that Rex 45. This is a Quiet Carry Drift with Vanex steel.
Hold on.
Coming from somebody who can rust M390, this is the knife I have to carry this summer. This is a super thin, super lightweight knife.
I just want you to realize I am getting this out of a pocket, so I do carry this.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. You don't even have a blade in it, though.
I don't. I've just been using it with the safe blade because it works. I just haven't changed it out yet because I haven't wanted to fuck with it, but I do need to do it. But I have been carrying it in my pocket. I've been using it.
I've had one every day for probably about 2 months now.
But I did have that in my pocket. I didn't do that for the video. It has been in my pocket since you sent it to me.
Okay, here's something. So Tajima razor blades are coated, so they shouldn't rust. Can you see that right there?
Is that like black? Is it like black oxide? What is that?
Yeah, they're coated. I'm not sure what with, but Tajima blades, you need to order Tajima blades off Amazon. It's $20 for 50 of them.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's plenty. That'll be enough blades for...
You see that rust right by the A?
Really?
Right.
And they're not supposed to rust?
No. I can rust fucking anything.
Dude, you've got a weird sweat.
Well, it doesn't help that my office is... Okay, let's check. Let's check what the office is.
You've actually been very much not bitchy tonight about it. Normally you start complaining about the heat.
My back is drenched.
It might just be because you've had... Well...
Yeah, it's back up to 82, so it's not as bad.
The Isla effect.
It's not as bad. Maybe it was this week or last week when I turned off the AC to shoot a video. It was 85 in here by the time I finished, and it just... Ugh.
By the way, this cigar, fucking great.
Also, by the way, it's 3 hours, and we swore that we wouldn't do 3 hours again. We're going to be so bad at podcasting once we start this. Like, it's going to be...
Once we start the podcast, it's going to be more... We're talking shit. We're talking to people, comments. It's, once the podcast, we're going to be a little more. We can't do 3 hours every week. I can't do it. Like I don't
We're
have the
gonna-
time to do 3 hours every week.
We're going to have to turn off the comments, like not turn them off, but like hide them from view. Otherwise I'm going to respond to them. I always struggled with that when we did the Pocket Now Weekly. Is I always wanted to read the comments and answer them in real time, but it's the worst.
Man, this is a fucking delicious cigar. I love Caldwell, man. And I know he didn't roll this. He picked it. He found it, but he obviously only puts the one in the Lost and Found that he likes. His palate, me and him are bros, dude, because the stuff that he
Hey, here we go. You guys can replace Joe Rogan here on YouTube. If we could replace Joe Rogan with
Dude.
let's talk like 1/20th of the revenue, or like 1/100th of the revenue.
Blazing
I'd be
Beats.
happy.
From your mouth to God's ears, son. If I could only do that, I would be so fucking happy. I'd sit on here and talk with you guys all week. I wouldn't give a shit.
Hey, you know what? We might have to just start live streaming on Twitch and just talking to each other all day. have a talk show, and then not even worry about videos anymore.
I mean, Joe Rogan's podcasts do go 3 hours. He's gone longer than 3.
Hey, one of the best podcast episodes I've ever listened to was 4.5 hours. It was when we drove up to Boston last year. I don't know if you remember that trip where we lost our dogs and all that.
Yeah. I didn't remember it was Boston. You said lost your dog. I remembered it because I was like, oh my God. When you lost that dog, I was like, oh Jesus.
So we left to drive to Boston in the middle of the night. And Alex was going to sleep and I was going to ride. So I put on, it was actually an Avett Brothers. Speaking of Avett Brothers earlier, it was an Avett Brothers podcast, or not Avett Brothers podcast. It was You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes.
I don't know, but I like You Made It Weird. I like that name.
Dude, you should listen to some You Made It Weird episodes. Pete Holmes is a phenomenal podcaster. Nice. But they were on You Made It Weird, and I was driving and I made it all the way to like middle of Virginia. And I'm like,
oh goddamn, look at that pour.
Oh
Jesus.
boy. Maybe you can keep up with your own patinas now.
That's an aggressive pour.
Looks like my first pour. Anyway, I was halfway to Baltimore, and I'm like, or probably even further than that. I was almost in Baltimore, and I'm like, this podcast is still going. And I looked down at the time, and I'm like, what? And I looked at my phone, and it was like 4 hours and 20 minutes. And I'm just like, and there was still time to go.
That was a big mouthful. Ham. I don't see how you don't get ham with the Islas.
I don't get ham.
It's like if you took honey baked ham and then smoked it. That's what it reminds me of.
Craig George says, okay, I have to cut 3 hours. This is my limit. It might also be my limit because I still have to go home.
Oh, dude, I just pulled a fucking mustache hair out. Brutal. Yeah, I mean, we got to cut here pretty soon. I'm obviously not going to finish this cigar because this cigar, I'll be going till after midnight with this guy. And we'll be down to nobody wanting to hear us ramble anymore. We won't have anything else to talk about for the next 3 podcasts because we've already talked about it all.
I told you. Well, Jeremy, okay, here's the thing. I could just sit here. I could start the podcast, never say a word, and you could go 3 hours on your own. Because I've had phone conversations with you exactly like that.
Okay, how about go fuck yourself? You did that video that one time, and the thing is, you totally fucked me on that because that was set up so that I look like a dick. You were walking back and forth. You walked around the office. I don't remember all the editing you did to make it look like it was like 4 hours, but you actually called me just to do that.
Yes, I did.
It was funny though. It was funny.
Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Where is Schumann says short runs. I feel like I'm just getting into them and they end. Yes. One of my favorite podcasts in the world is Reply All.
I'm just holding this up to answer a question. Okay. I'll keep going.
Artbeg Wee Beastie. Reply All is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. I've listened to every episode, some of them multiple times. It's just very well made. I love it to death. And some episodes by them are an hour. I love those hour-long podcasts. And then some of them are like 20 minutes. And I absolutely hate when they do a 20-minute podcast because I want it to be 3 hours long. But at the same time, I prefer shorter podcasts because
20 minutes though, that doesn't seem like a long enough podcast to me.
Well, they go as long as the story dictates, right? So it's a very story-driven podcast, and they don't tell stories. Well, they do, but they do things like super tech support where they're trying to dig deep and figure out why. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but they do a lot of different types of podcasts, and they just kind of let it go whatever length it's going to be. But then again, like if it's a very like philosophical, deep podcast, like a lot of the You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes podcasts are, I'll listen to it over several car rides. But you got to think like the only time I ever listen to podcasts is in the car. It's the only time I can focus on it because if I turn one on here at the office, I listen for 5 minutes and then I start doing something. I get distracted. I have to back it up 30 minutes and listen to it again because I didn't remember anything. So the only time I can really focus on a podcast is in the car, and my office is 10 minutes from the house. So I have like maybe 20 minutes a day to listen to a podcast. So I like one that I can either listen to on the way here and be done with it, so 10 minutes, or one that I can listen to on the way here and the way home and be done. I don't like listening over multiple days, but
see, I listen to podcasts a lot when I'm shooting B-roll and stuff. Like not obviously when I'm doing the talking head portion of a video, but when I'm shooting like the B-roll, all the product shots or whatever, I listen to B-roll a lot of the time or listen to B-roll. Jesus. I listen to podcasts while I'm doing that.
You got that Isla high now. No, I can't. If I'm doing literally anything other than driving, I will not retain anything I hear. I just won't do it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing about podcasts though, right? Is like, unless you're watching or listening to like a lot of Joe Rogan's podcast, if I'm watching one of the ones he does with like somebody who's giving a lot of information, like Rhonda Patrick, or like one of the people that they're a scientist or they're an expert in a field and but a lot of his podcasts are just kind of people talking shit about what they think about different things, right? It's not really stuff that I need to absorb. It's just kind of stuff that's going on in the background and I'm just listening to it kind of passively as I'm doing other things. Yeah. So, it just depends.
I don't know. I struggle with retaining anything unless I'm like 100% totally focused on it.
Yeah.
So for me, like when I used to drive 30, 40 minutes one way every day, I would listen to so many podcasts and I loved it. And then lately I've been listening to them, but just not nearly as many. It's tough. I'm going to be honest. I don't like a lot of podcasts.
I don't listen to a ton of them. Joe's the one I listen to the most. Joe Rogan. I listen to his podcast all the time. I
haven't listened to one of his in a long time.
I listen to Meat Eater quite a bit.
Reply All. I listened to The Way I Heard It by what's his freaking name? Dirty Jobs, Micro.
Oh yeah, Your Mom's House.
He is such a good storyteller. Micro is.
He's got a good voice too.
Yeah.
He's got that. I got something in my fucking. I can see. Your Mom's House.
Someone said if you listen at 2 times, you retain more. I found I can't listen to podcasts at 2 times. I can listen sometimes at like 1.2, 1.3, maybe 1.5. But once it gets so fast, it turns robotic and I tune it out.
Yeah. 2 Bears, 1 Cave. That's another good one. That's the same. That's Tom Segura from Your Mom's House. That's his podcast with Bert Kreischer. Those are like comedy podcasts, right? So those are the kind of podcasts I'm talking about where like I listen to those when I'm doing other stuff because I'm not trying to retain what they're saying. They're joking around about shit. They're not, really talking about anything serious that I need to retain.
Criminal is another fantastic podcast. That one's out of Raleigh-ish area, North Carolina. But if you like true crime stuff, that one started off amazing. Now it's okay, but my wife would love that. The first like 100 episodes of Criminal were amazing. But yeah, I'd like to get into more podcasts and listening to more. But
Oh, sorry, Taylor. I thought you were stopping and then you started back up. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know.
Free Range. Yes, I have listened to that. That is the Black Rifle Coffee guys. And the couple that I've listened to are pretty interesting. They don't talk about just coffee the whole time. They're actually all ex-military guys. So they talk about a ton of different stuff.
I'm just going to show you this. Actually, I'm not going to show you. Fake Asian 99 from my Discord server says Taylor says we won't do a 3-hour live stream. Also, Taylor goes over 3 hours on his live stream. Next line, I also blame Jeremy. Thank you.
Why do you blame me? Hold on, my fucking ears are hot. Hold on. Why do you blame me?
Thank you. Because it's your fault.
Taylor has done his fair share of talking on this podcast or this live stream also.
I'm just along for the ride. All right. Well, I am going to have to go home soon. So
yeah, man, I got to finish this whiskey. And the more of this I drink, the more likely I am to say something that I don't want on public forums.
That was a pretty strong fifth pour.
Yeah, my pours are small though, man. So like, I don't even really have a buzz yet, honestly. I mean, I've been drinking at a pretty slow pace, and I mean, I was pouring,
Patina.
This one though,
Patina.
That one was a good Patina.
Yes, for one, you get 4.
Patina. You can't ever just do one. You just got to patina.
9 patina. Take 9 shots right now.
It's not a complete episode if I don't drop ash on myself.
Nice.
I will suggest this cigar. I don't know if you can find these. They might have them on Luxury Cigars site, but really good. Really, really good. This with a little wee beastie. I'm not going to complain, man. I've had a rough week, but this is not an unpleasant way to finish it off.
See, these Friday night hangouts are really nice, but I just don't want to do every Friday night because once the coronavirus stuff is over. Yeah,
then people aren't going to want to sit here and listen to our asses talk for 3 hours.
Well, I also would like to go to a brewery on a Friday night. Right. So,
I think Wednesdays is what we talked about doing. And, just to kind of, since we're about to close it down here shortly, let's just kind of give a little information for the few people that are left. How many people are still hanging in there, by the way? Let's see.
120.
120. You guys are fucking champions.
3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah. The plan is to go weekly, but for right now, because Taylor's got a bit of an air conditioning situation, it's not super pleasant for him to do these right now because it's very hot in his office. So until we get that straight, they're going to be a little sporadic. There might be plus you have a vacation you're going on. You're going to be at the beach for a week. So for right now, they may not be in podcast platform. It may be these kind of hangout sessions, just live streaming at sporadic intervals, a week here, 2 weeks here, whatever. But the plan is to eventually go full, maybe within the next month to 5 or 6 weeks, go full time, have a set day of the week. We're thinking about Wednesdays at 8, probably try to keep it to around an hour-ish, heavy on the ish, and do it weekly. So that's the original plan.
Boy, Ryan Patrick just dropped a bomb on me. Taylor, you might be cooler in slant pocket shorts. I am wearing slant pocket shorts. I don't like them. But I'm wearing them.
See, there's the flat. There's the flat right there.
Well, yeah, I have style, so I don't do that.
Team slant pockets, bitch. That's all I'm saying.
I have slant pockets. I just don't like them.
Team slant pockets. Ryan Patrick, you're my man.
Okay, so somebody, David Robertson, keeps asking me to say Ferda. I don't know what that means. They also said you made a Letterkenny reference. Do you watch Letterkenny?
No, what is that?
Yeah, it's a show about Canadian rednecks. I guess I've not seen it.
I might have just made the reference because I'm a bit of a redneck, and Canadian rednecks are the same no matter what country you're in. So it might have just been my natural being coming out. I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, I've watched one episode of Letterkenny, and if you're not like focusing on Letterkenny, you're not going to keep up. It is very fast-paced comedy.
Huh.
And they've got a Canadian accent. I don't always pick up on what they're saying. I don't always get the jokes. Like, it is rapid fire jokes.
I just realized that they said take a drink every time Jeremy looks confused. And I think I just realized because I saw my face when I was doing it. I'm like,
you just got like 50 people plastered.
Well, and it's because when I'm trying to read, because I'm pretty far away from my computer and the comments are small. So when I'm trying to read, I kind of get this look on my face. And I think that might have been what they were talking about. I don't know what Ferda is. What's Ferda?
I don't know what they're Ferda boys.
Is that like the redneck way to say Florida?
I'm
down here in Ferda.
I think both of us are showing our age right now.
Ferda?
But you're definitely showing more of your age because you're definitely older.
Well, I always show my age because of, it doesn't look that bad here, actually.
It's so pixelated, I can't tell how many gray strands there are.
In real life, dude, there is a strong gray streak in the beard. Goddamn. But
you told me to get one of those blue mic stands.
Yeah, dude.
Instead, I just used my 18-foot boom arm.
Oh, dude, that boom arm is hilarious, dude. That day you were showing me that thing.
It's out in the warehouse right now.
Yeah, dude. It's like, that's actually still at my house. The fucking boom, the tripod is actually at Taylor's house, and he just routed the fucking thing. That thing was so long.
I think it goes up to 10 feet tall and has a boom arm like 12 or 13 feet long. This is the craziest mic stand. I love it.
I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to see if anybody says what the fuck Ferda is. I don't know what Ferda boys are. I don't
know what they're talking about.
I'm lost.
We're both running the same mic setups. We're running Rode pod mics into Rodecasters.
I'll be curious to see if my audio sounds a little more level this time, because last time I was a little low. So we'll be curious to see if it's level, and I'll also be curious to see. We need to, and we could talk about this off after we get done with this, but I do want to try Zoom to see if the visuals are a little better, because this does pixelate a lot, and the visuals aren't the audio. Jesus Christ, I've had too much to drink. Apparently, I'm not even drunk, but I can't talk.
Well, sounds about normal.
Yeah, the image gets a little weird sometimes with this. I'm curious to see if the Zoom is any better. Ferda. Short form of the phrase "for the boys."
Yeah. So, Jeremy, Ferda is from Letterkenny, Canadian version of for the.
Oh, Ferda. Well, that's kind of like down here we say Finda. That's like a thing we say here. I say it all the time. Be like, I'm finna go do that. And people are like, what? And
I'm not going to talk about my old accent and the dialect of my people.
Well, dude, do you say Finda?
No.
You don't say Finda?
No, I'll throw one out there. My grandma says, "Give me a change."
Give me a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she says change.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm from Kentucky, bro. Like, you should hear some of the shit that comes out of the people. I mean, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
She also says, "How are ya?"
Well, and my whole family puts an R in wash.
No. Oh yeah, wash.
Yeah, wash.
Oh yeah, but how are ya?
How are you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's normal. Like, how are you?
No. That's not what she's saying.
What is she saying?
She's saying, "How are ya?"
So, what is it? What is she saying when she says, "How are you?"
Hawaii.
Oh, the state Hawaii is. How are you?
Oh yeah, dude, it used to drive her crazy because my sister lived in Hawaii. Air Force was stationed there, and my grandma would be talking about her and say, she would, just in the middle of a sentence, she'd be like, something, Hawaii, or, well, how are you? And I'm like, I'm great. How are you? Like, what? And she's like, no, how are you? And I'm like, I'm great. How are you? And it would just derail everything. She did not get what I was talking about. It took her so long to realize that I was just like making fun of how she says Hawaii.
Dude, my whole family's like that. I turn it off in videos and stuff a lot because whatever. But
yeah. I dropped my accent. My accent was, I mean, I still have one, obviously, but mine was thick.
Oh, yeah.
Thick.
You don't sound like you have one anymore. You've done pretty good.
Well, okay. So when I first moved to Charlotte, I grew up in a farm town, just small town, and everybody's got a pretty thick accent there. And I remember the very first day, the first class I took at college in Charlotte, the teacher was calling everybody's names out, and she called mine, and I'm like, here. And everybody just stopped and looked at me, and I'm just like, what? That was how I said here. Like, just I was super, super thick accent. And when I started making videos on YouTube back in 2010, I think, you could hear it. It was thick, and that was all anybody would comment on, was the way I said things. And I slowly dropped it over the course of 2 or 3 years. Also, yeah. So Steve says Irish accent comes out when buzzed. Yeah, if I get actually very tipsy or drunk, it just comes back. Like,
can I say,
with a vengeance?
Can I say I fucking love Irish accents?
Oh yeah, me too.
Irish
Absolutely.
and Scottish accents.
Irish is a better accent than Scottish, I think. Scottish sounds a little more gibberishy, a little more garbled than Irish, but
can I also say I love a proper Cockney accent?
Oh God, no.
Oh, dude, I love a good Cockney because
Welsh is the worst accent. I have to say, it's awful.
Dude, a good Cockney accent. Come on, dude, I love it. Like, it's all like the fucking Guy Ritchie movie kind of like. Dude, I fucking love it. I love it. It's great. It's fucking fantastic.
Well, anyway, yeah. So when I get a little buzzed, it comes out, it rears its ugly head, and I'm sure if I drink enough on this podcast over time, you're gonna hear my old accent, and sometimes it just sneaks out in the middle of sentences. Like, I'll be shooting a video, and it just boom, one word will come out, and I'm like, whoa.
Which is why I said the longer I drink, the quicker I have to get off it. Because, dude, this is something, and we probably do need to wrap this up. We're going off on another tangent, but I have to be careful.
Jeremy, real quick, Sires.
That's it. But I have to be careful because, I mean, you talk to me off in person, like private. Like, what I say on social platforms is a very restricted version of the way I really am in real life.
Wait. Let me get this in here for effect.
I am extremely. I take it down a lot because I don't want to. Here's the thing. In today's world, people get so offended so easily. You got to watch what you say. Even if you're just joking around and kidding, you offend so many people. So,
and Jeremy is highly offensive off air.
Well, dude, I won't say what it was, but I was going to put something in a video, and I said,
you're going to need to start passing all of your jokes off to me for approval.
And I asked my wife, I'm like, should I say this in a video? And she goes, absolutely not. And I was like, why?
And then he texts me, and he's like,
right. Well, wait.
Do you agree with my wife or me? Should I put this in the video? And I'm like, Jeremy,
right.
Fuck, no, don't say that.
So it was a joke. I thought it was funny. Obviously, it was a joke. I wasn't being serious. Like, it was completely in jest. And I said, Taylor, wife says I shouldn't say this. And I told her, I said, what do you think? He goes, listen to your wife. That was his answer.
Oh man, we're getting roasted in the comments here. The Real Quick Show.
Yeah. But so I have to watch out on these podcasts, man, because like I could let some shit fly that, like, especially the more I drink, that I'm just kidding. I don't mean anything by it, but like, it's a weird world today, man. People get super offended really easily.
I really want at some point to have my old podcast co-host come on this show.
The guy that does the tech guy,
well, yeah, he used to do tech with me.
You did a video with him not too long ago.
No.
Who was the guy
So he was the old podcast co-host he was the host of the Pocket Now Weekly. That was Michael Fisher. I'm talking about Dustin Early. When I did Untethered, he was my co-host. He was the guy that took us down some pretty dark paths when we were doing some episodes, and he is phenomenal, and he doesn't drink whiskey. I think he's finally accepted caffeine because he became a father, and he texted me and he's like, look, I've gone a very long time without caffeine, but I don't understand how parents do this. He said, what coffee should I get? And I said, I got you, boo. And I sent him a bunch of instant coffee, like good instant coffee, stuff I drink.
Right.
And I think it made
Homeboy did an episode about that, actually. There's an episode about instant coffee.
James Hoffman.
Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, he was one of my favorite people to talk to. That's why we started the podcast. He's just such a great guy to talk to, but he's got some stories, dude. And if you want somebody to make you feel mild,
it's just, and me and you had this conversation, right? Like I thought about taking not my main channel, but After Hours, more in the line of what the Black Rifle Coffee guys did, right? Like they are unabashedly don't give a fuck, right? Like they say what's on their mind. It's all for humor's sake. They're not serious about all this shit. It's all for humor, but they say what they mean and or whatever. They just don't care if they offend anybody. And I thought about taking my second channel that way because that's my personality. In real life, I don't care if people get offended for the most part. But when you're dealing with online persona and your livelihood, you have to be careful because people get weird.
I am far more vulgar in person,
right,
than I am online. Like far more vulgar,
right.
And the funny thing is, though, like I'm sure people were surprised that I even put "damn" in the name of my business, my channel.
I think it's funny that people had a problem with that. You said some shirts people didn't want because it said "damn" on the shirt. I'm like, damn, a damn bothered people. Jesus Christ!
My dad got mad at me when he asked he didn't know my channel name or business name or anything, and he's like, "Hey, I work with a guy and he thinks that he watches your channel. What's the name of your channel?" Of course, my dad didn't even know the name of my YouTube channel. Thanks, Dad. But I told him and he was like, he was so disappointed.
I mean, that's just crazy. But see, that's the kind of world we live in though, right? And like, it's just a weird thing, right? And this is a constant turmoil in my brain on how far to go. Do I go full Jeremy and risk it, or do I not? Because then what if you do offend people and then you end up one of these people that you piss off like half of the people that are your subscribers, and then all of a sudden your channel goes to shit because you said something that offended people. So
well, the thing is, if you're ever that offensive, it kind of falls back on the there like no press is bad press mentality, right? Because I mean, look at the fucking shit bag on YouTube who adopted a special needs kid from China, and 3 years later, after raising a kid for 3 fucking years, decided this is too hard. We don't want him, and we're going to rehome him.
Dude, that's horrible.
They rehomed a fucking child, a human being.
It's not a puppy. It's not a fucking puppy.
Yeah,
it's a person,
a human being, and they made some sob story apology video, and some people felt sympathy for them, and I'm like, how they are the worst people ever, or at least pretty damn close to it. And
that's pretty bad.
Sympathy. They got sympathy for that.
It's tough though, man.
No, the worst part is when they adopted that child, they specifically sought out a special needs child. Specifically, they wanted a special needs child from China. That's what they got. And they're like, this is too hard. They basically did it for the Instagram likes and the YouTube revenue. And they have 2 channels over 1 million subs.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. See, a lot of these people are saying we need the Whiskey Knife Fight second channel where we get the real Taylor and real Jeremy.
The thing is, both Jeremy and I are verging on like demonetization on YouTube. So we kind of need like a place where we can actually make money if shit hits the fan, but this might not be it.
Right. It's a weird dynamic, man. It's a tough thing. And I want to go as far as I can. And I do want to, and I mean, don't get me wrong. People get my real personality. I'm not being a fake person. You know, from talking to me, you're the same way on this podcast. You are you, but it's just a censored version, right? There are bits that are cut out because.
Yeah, that's a very good point right here. If you go full 100%, you better have a Patreon or be in the process of putting a rock solid Patreon that turns into the revenue backbone or something.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
we would definitely have to have something off of YouTube advertising, but also like Dr. Disrespect. I talked about this earlier. He got banned off Twitch. Nobody really knows why. He was one of the biggest Twitch streamers ever. I mean, he's huge. I've tuned in his streams and he's had 300,000 concurrents. Like, that is fucking enormous.
Mm-hmm.
And he had multi-million-dollar exclusivity deals with Twitch, like huge. And then they're just like, you're banned. He was midstream. Actually, I think he found out after he was off stream, but he didn't know why. He just got banned. He was gone.
Right.
And the fact, two things out of that. One, doesn't matter how big you are. These companies now want to save face. You could be multi-million dollar earner for them. Doesn't matter, because one guy who causes problems is going to be less valuable than tens of thousands of streamers who individually only make, tens of thousands per year. It all adds up and it's worth more.
Yep.
So in a situation like this, where your revenue depends on a company that's going to pay you based on ads, you have to be clean these days. You just have to. So what Dr. Disrespect is thinking about doing, nobody really knows what he's going to do for his return, but he's talking about having his own website where he hosts his own streams totally independently of any stream platform. So he would get 100% of the ad revenue.
Yep.
And he would be in total control, and he could say whatever the fuck he wanted. And that's what the dream, but he can afford to do that because he's made millions now.
That's what the Hodge twins did.
It's hard to do.
The Hodge twins still have YouTube channels. They have the Hodge Twins channel. They have Conservative Twins, but they also have Hodge Twins TV or whatever it is. And it's a paid service. You pay like a couple bucks a month, and all the like completely unabashed, uncensored, everything is on that. And they just do whatever the fuck they want.
Also a good point. Patreon isn't much better than YouTube. Get on locals. Yeah. Patreon has also banned people too. So
yeah.
Basically, we're just putting our faith in not being totally demonetized at all times.
Well, and I think people misunderstand, like the cussing and stuff. We do. Obviously, we've been cussing up a storm on this. Like, the cussing is somewhat okay. It's some of the topics and some of the things that I joke about in my personal life, because people know who I am and they know that I am not a mean-spirited person, that if I say this, it's in jest. But in real life, it offends a lot of people, right? It's not as much.
You're not a very politically correct person.
Right. It's the political correctness and all the things that I joke about, that obviously I'm joking. It's not as much the cussing as it is some of the subject matter that you have to watch out.
Yep. We're going to have an OnlyFans. Yep. That's next for us.
What's that?
It's where people pay for your nudes, basically.
Oh, God, nobody wants to see that shit.
Apparently, I mean, look at this. Boom. I'd pay for Whiskey Knife Fight OnlyFans.
Dude, I'm hairy. You don't want to see that. I just like go to the zoo and look at the gorilla exhibit, and then that you basically just got it.
A gorilla with tattoos.
Yeah, a gorilla with tattoos.
And I'm hairless and tattooless.
So that you basically got it. But yeah, but just to finish off that thought, it isn't the cussing as much as it's some of the content, right? You just have to be careful what you say, especially in today's environment. I think it's pretty obvious.
That's a big one right there.
Yeah, it is a big one.
Nope. Hey, we are encroaching on 4 hours.
Get it?
I'm gonna have to go home, dude.
All right, bitch. Let's get. We'll get on another subject. Let's just go.
Yeah, we're gonna do this again, probably at least one more time before we actually do the podcast, I would imagine. Just because I've got to figure out the office situation, and right now, not sure where that's headed. Like I spent about half my day today looking at office spaces for rent, and there's not shit. and the stuff that's available is like $4,000 a month, and nope, can't pay for that. So
which is why I shoot my house. That's another thing.
I live in a tiny house with a 14-month-old, so that's not possible. But
we probably will do one more of these. I think you're gone next week, right?
First week of August.
Okay, so next week you're here. It's 2 weeks you're gone. So we'll probably get one more out before the first week in August, and then one more of these sometime before the first week in August, and then the first week of August we'll obviously have off, maybe by the time we come back in the mid of August, the office situation will be squared away and we can start the official podcast.
Yeah, I would hope so, but we'll see.
Does Whiskey Fight have other social media? YouTube channel, which is this, and Instagram.
I do have the Facebook, but I don't plan on using it a lot. And Whiskey Knife Fight with no spaces is one character too long for a Twitter handle.
I fucking hate Twitter anyway.
I don't mind it, but
I never twat. I don't know. I don't think it's
You're
twat.
so old.
That's another thing. Twat.
You're so old.
Millennial, fuck you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out for 3 hours and 34 minutes. It's been real.
Fucking champions. Let's see what the final number was. How many people were actually champions? We still finished out over 100. There's over 100 people that are fucking absolute legends.
We lost less than half.
Hey, though, we hit a new high, though. I don't know what our high was tonight. I'll be curious to see what our highest number was, but
217. Last time was 216.
Hey, that over 100. Hopefully, we'll be up in the thousands in no time.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Be good.
It'll be great. Maybe when we don't do 4-hour podcasts.
Yeah, right. No shit. People are like, these fucking guys podcast. All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody for hanging in there. Legends.
Yes, absolute legends. We'll see you guys in a few weeks. Not sure when, but I'm sure we'll tell you when on our Instagram.
Put it on the social medias.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
Patina.
Oh, beautiful.
Patina.
Patina.
Cheers, bitches. Patina.